Chapter 1534. Qin Feng quickly understood and asked tentatively, "Patriarch Qi, could it be that you?" Before he could finish, Qi Tsong smiled bitterly and said, "I won't hide it from young hero Qin. What you've heard is just a rumor. I've been stuck at the peak of the ninth realm for many years, and I still can't break through to the Buddha light stage. That's why I've been wandering around looking for a pill king these years, hoping to get a yuan converting pill and break through. But pill kings are so rare in the northern sand continent that I haven't found anyone who can help me." Qin Feng once again realized the rarity and preciousness of alchemists in the divine continent, especially high-level alchemists. Qin Feng could now refine a small number of Tier 7 king pills. This meant that he was a genuine king of pills. My master can also refine the yuan converting pill, but Patriarch Qi has to prepare the materials yourself. Qin Feng had already read the introduction of a yuan converting pill in the system. In fact, he couldn't refine it with his current ability. But Qin Feng believed that once he broke through to the Saint King realm, he would be able to refine the yuan converting pill. Qi Tsong could no longer hold back his excitement. His face flushed red. "Great, this is great. Young hero Qin, rest assured, all the pills I asked your master to refine will have their own materials, and I will also give you a generous reward. I will not treat you and your master unfairly." Seeing Qi Tsong so excited, Qin Feng laughed in his heart. In fact, he was the biggest beneficiary of this deal. He could get the Golden Saint pill and yuan converting pill without providing anything. Patriarch Qi is really a forthright person. I, Qin Feng, hope to become friends with Patriarch Qi. Qin Feng seized the opportunity and said. Qi Tsong agreed without even thinking about it. If he could become good friends with Qin Feng, wouldn't that be the same as grabbing onto a pill king's network? Good. Then you and I will become brothers again. In the future, if Brother Qin has any trouble in Luo City, just look for me. Haha. Good. Since Big Brother Qi is my brother, don't be polite with me in the future. If you need any other pills, just tell me. I will try my best to refine them for you. Qi Tsong was so moved that he was about to cry. He thought that Qin Feng really had a master. When Qin Feng heard Qi Tsong list more than a dozen high-grade pills, he was so excited that he almost shouted out loud. He could refine all of these medicinal pills, and Qi Tsong was willing to provide the medicinal herbs for free. This was simply a wonderful thing that fell from the sky. The two of them chatted for a while in the Saint Medic Hall. After that, Qi Tsong invited Qin Feng to his residence as a guest. Everyone in the Qi residence busied themselves. According to Patriarch Qi's order, they had to receive an extremely important and distinguished guest. Just when everyone was wondering who it was that could make Patriarch Qi treat him so generously, they saw Qin Feng swaggering into the Qi residence. Everyone in the Qi residence was stunned. After a sumptuous dinner, Qi Tsong arranged for 2 carriages of medicinal herbs to be sent to Sacred Medicine Hall. These medicinal herbs were all extremely precious spirit grasses and spirit plants. Even Qin Feng found it difficult to obtain one of them. Such a spectacular scene startled Lu Jie and the others. They had thought that the Bien family had come to make trouble again, but this time they had actually brought 2 carriages of people to make trouble. Just as everyone was glaring at the door and preparing for a big battle, they saw Qin Feng jump out of the carriage with a smile on his face. It's actually boss. Qin Feng, are you all right? Why did Patriarch Qi call you over? Everyone gathered around Qin Feng. Ever since the Bien family left, they had been in a state of panic. Even now, they did not know the current situation. Qin Feng gave Yunzhe a few words. Then he brought a few of the Qi family subordinates to carry the medicinal herbs into the house. Qin Feng brought everyone back to Saint Medic Hall. Everyone, don't worry about the Bien family. Now that Patriarch Qi and I are sworn brothers, the Bien family will not dare to cause trouble in our territory again. As soon as these words came out, everyone's eyes and jaws dropped to the ground. Han Ying exclaimed after she regained her senses, "Really? Qin Feng? You're too amazing. You even had a relationship with Patriarch Qi." Qin Feng smiled at her and said, Ying, Saint Medic Hall will develop rapidly in the future. You'll be very busy. Han was not afraid of tiredness at all. She could not wait to help Qin Feng build a super business empire on the Divine Continent. When the others heard that the crisis had been resolved, their hearts sank. At night, everyone held a celebratory banquet. This was the first time they had such a relaxing and joyful gathering since they came to the Divine Continent. The banquet lasted until late at night. Lu Jie and the others were drunk, and the women were also a little tipsy. Qin Feng sent them back to their rooms one by one. After he was done, Qin Feng did not rest. He immediately ran to the alchemy room and began to refine pills. He was surrounded by all kinds of rare and precious spiritual herbs, which increased the spiritual qi in the alchemy room by more than 10 times. In fact, Qin Feng had 2 ways to refine pills. One was to use the system's alchemy pavilion to let the heaven and earth cauldron refine pills on its own. The other was to refine pills in the outside world. The system's refining process was much easier, but it would charge a corresponding amount of hedonist points every time he refined a pill. The higher the grade of the pill, the higher the hedonist points would be. The lowest grade Qin Feng needed to refine was a 6th grade golden pill. If he used the heaven and earth cauldron to refine pills, he would use up all his hedonist points. Rumble. Qin Feng bought a simple cauldron from the system and began to refine pills in the alchemy room. He waved his hand, and the purple dusk, immortal fire leaped into the cauldron. Instantly, the temperature in the room soared. The process of refining pills was a little boring, but Qin Feng was fully focused. He did not dare to slack off. It was his first time refining a golden sage pill, and he hoped to refine a full batch of pills in one go. In the blink of an eye, a night passed. Just when the sky was turning white, a loud noise came from the alchemy room. Qin Feng slowly opened his eyes, and he looked excited. 6 golden pills rose from the cauldron in front of him. They were the formed golden sage pills. To be able to produce 6 golden sage pills in one go was already a top-notch existence among golden core refiners. Ordinary golden core refiners could only produce 3 golden sage pills in one go. Due to the condensation of the golden sage pills, the spiritual qi in the room changed drastically. The dense spiritual qi seemed to condense into substantial raindrops and fell down. Qin Feng did not want to waste this precious opportunity to break through. He immediately swallowed a golden sage pill. Rumble. The pill melted in Qin Feng's mouth, and the dense spiritual qi surged in Qin Feng's body in the form of an explosion. Originally, Qin Feng planned to swallow 2 golden sage pills, but one pill almost caused his body to explode. Whoosh! Qin Feng endured the wild spiritual qi surging in his body and sat cross-legged to circulate his qi. His skin turned light purple. That was the original state of spiritual qi. Traces of spiritual qi even seeped out of his pores. Qin Feng felt as if he had fallen into a cave abode of heavenly treasures. Rumble. After an unknown period of time, a loud sound came from Qin Feng's body. The sound was continuous, and he was worried that he would really explode. But after a while, the sound of the explosion stopped. Qin Feng circulated his qi and felt the huge change in the aura in his body. Congratulations, Master. You have broken through to the peak of Immortal Qi Level 9. Little Pig's shout came. Qin Feng was shocked. A golden sage pill allowed him to break through 2 small realms, from the middle stage of Immortal Qi Level 9 to the peak. However, the golden sage pill in Qin Feng's body had not been completely digested. At least half of the spiritual qi had not been devoured. He suppressed the joy of breaking through and swallowed another golden sage pill. After Qin Feng entered the alchemy pavilion, he did not come out for 3 days and 3 nights. The girls, Lu Jie, and the others gathered around the big stone table in the backyard to have breakfast. Everyone's eyes would occasionally glance at the entrance of the alchemy pavilion. Boss hasn't come out for 3 days and 3 nights. Did something happen to him? Lu Jie worriedly asked. All the girls had grave expressions on their faces. They really wanted to enter the house to see what was going on, but they were afraid that they would disturb Qin Feng's cultivation and cause him to go berserk. Brother Qin, you're out. Yunze suddenly jumped up in excitement. Everyone hurriedly looked towards the pill refining room. Qin Feng was standing at the door dressed in a white robe, his clothes and long hair fluttering without any wind, his body emitting an ethereal and mysterious aura, as if he could disappear with the wind at any time. Everyone hurriedly went to Qin Feng's side, but they saw a white shadow flash by. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feng was already standing next to everyone. Big brother Qin, what realm are you in now? Yunze was dumbfounded. Qin Feng stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his figure even straighter than before. Those black eyes were as clear as water and as deep as the Milky Way. I am now a first realm Saint King. Qin Feng's simple words completely stunned everyone. Lu Jie's saliva hung from his mouth. Huh? Boss, you broke through to the Saint King realm? Everyone looked at Qin Feng in surprise. If they remember correctly, Qin Feng had only been in seclusion for 3 days and 3 nights, and had broken through from the 9th stage, Immortal Qi middle stage, to the Saint King realm. Even the girls who were familiar with Qin Feng found it hard to accept, not to mention that they couldn't believe it. Even Qin Feng himself was in a daze. I was able to step into the Saint King realm, thanks to the help of pills. Now, I have a lot of spirit grasses and spirit plants on hand. I will ask Hua Tuo to refine them into pills, and everyone can use them to quickly break through. Everyone was pleasantly surprised by his words. Now that they had come to the Divine Supreme Continent, everyone was very clear about the importance of one's realm. This was a world where strength was respected, and without strength, everything else was meaningless. After breaking through to the Saint King realm, Qin Feng spent a few days to stabilize his realm. Now that he had completely stabilized his first realm, Saint King realm, with the help of various spirit artifacts and high-grade martial skills, he could even kill a second realm Saint King realm master. These days, no one from the Bian family came looking for trouble. It seemed that Bian Xiong, who was really intimidated by Qi Song. This made Qin Feng feel at ease. After another week, Qin Feng sent some 6 gray golden pills refined by Hua Tuo to the Hua Mansion. When Qi Song saw the pills, he was very excited, and this brought the relationship between the two of them closer. Seeing that everything was going smoothly in Luo City, Qin Feng began to worry. Although he had stepped into the first realm Saint King realm in the Divine Supreme Continent, or even in Northern Sand Continent, this realm was just below the middle level. Qin Feng realized that he could not quickly improve his realm in a short time, so he wanted to go out and find some new opportunities. While Qin Feng was planning, a group of people came to the Saint Medic Hall. There were more than a dozen people, and they were dressed shabbily. The reason why they found this place was because they heard about the Spirit Immortal sect. Bookmark for easier reading. Chapter 1535. Qin Feng had changed the name of the base to Hero City so that people from the secular world could find their way to the divine mainland. However, the name of the spiritual immortal sect was still retained so that people from the divine mainland could find their way here. Moreover, after Qin Feng came to the divine mainland, he met Zhang Yin, Bai Lu, his wife, Zhou Tian, and the others. When he bid farewell to them, he mentioned the spiritual immortal sect. If the name was removed, Qin Feng was afraid that these people would not be able to find their way here. This time, it was a group of odd-job disciples led by Zhou Tian. At that time, Qin Feng was still cultivating in his room. Zhao Lingxian and the others received them. Everyone had been in the Hunyuan sect, so they knew each other. Qin Feng only came out of his room at night. He felt relieved when he saw Zhou Tian coming. Big brother Qin, it's great to see you again. Zhou Tian ran up to Qin Feng excitedly. As for the dozen odd-job disciples who came with him, they seemed a little reserved. They stood at the corner of the door and looked at the luxurious Saint Medic Hall in surprise. Qin Feng hadn't seen Zhou Tian for more than a month. He noticed that Zhou Tian and the odd-job disciples were all bruised. They had obviously been treated inhumanely in the Hunyuan sect. Qin Feng's face turned cold. What happened to your injuries? Zhou Tian's eyes flashed with anger, but he quickly recovered. Ha! It's nothing. We're used to it anyway. Big brother Qin, don't ask. The night Qin Feng left the Hunyuan sect, Zhou Tian helped him trap a large number of disciples. He had a good impression of Zhou Tian. How could he ignore Zhou Tian's grievances? Was it Huan Fei? Qin Fen quickly thought of someone. Zhou Tian and the other odd-job disciples' expressions suddenly darkened. There was no need for them to say anything. Qin Feng was certain now. Hun Fei was merely an ant at the fourth layer of immortal qi. Qin Fen could kill him with one slap back then. Now, he wouldn't take a small fry like Huan Fei seriously. It was just that the sect competition had happened too suddenly. After Qin Fen won the competition, he was in a hurry to escape the Hunyuan sect because he offended Hunyuan Ci's elder. He forgot to kill Huan Fei. I think Hun Fei is tired of living. I will take revenge for everyone. Qin Feng's voice was as cold as ice. Everyone in Zhou Tian was moved. They knew how powerful Qin Feng was. He was someone who had stepped into the 7th level of celestial qi and was someone who could even kill Hun Qiankuan. But that was only the Qin Feng from a little over a month ago. If Zhou Tian and the others knew that he had already become a first-grade Saint King, they would definitely feign on the spot. After talking for a while, Qin Feng understood the situation of Zhou Tian and the others for the past month. Ever since Qin Feng left Hunyuan's sect with Lin Bei Bei and the other 4 girls that night, Hunyuan Hai and Hun Tian Jiao, the 2 elders, jointly issued a wanted order for all the disciples of Hunyuan's sect to hunt him down. After that, the prestige that Qin Feng had established in inter-sect tournament gradually disappeared, and Hun Fei started to show off again. He vented his resentment towards Qin Feng on Zhou Tian's odd-job disciples. He made them do hard work every day and didn't even give them food at night. Whenever they did something wrong, Hun Fei would use a whip stained with horse dung to serve them. Qin Feng was furious after listening to these things. He wanted to kill his way to Hunyuan's sect to kill Hun Fei and those bastards from Hunyuan High. A month ago, he was still no match for Hunyuan High. But now that he had become a first-grade Saint King, Qin Feng no longer cared about Hunyuan High. Big brother Qin, don't be angry. Actually, we don't blame you. Back then, when you used a whip stained with horse dung to whip Hun Fei, everyone's blood was boiling with excitement. Then you took first place on the dragon ranking in the inter-sect tournament. You made us proud. Although Big Brother Qin became a core disciple of the sect, in my heart, you will always be the leader of the odd-job disciples. That's why I brought a group of odd-job disciples to seek refuge with you. Zhou Tian's heartfelt words touched Qin Feng. Whether it was in the secular world, the divine land, or the divine supreme continent, he would never look down on low-level cultivators just because they were strong. He treated every one of his friends with care, which earned him a high degree of recognition from them. Zhou Tian, you and the others will stay in Hero City from now on. This is my territory. No one will dare to bully you anymore. You will cultivate and help Saint Medic Hall and Divine Armament Hall with chores. As for the medicinal pills and spirit weapons in the shop, you can use them for free. Qin Feng's words stunned everyone. They were just odd-job disciples. Their status was lower than pigs and dogs, but Qin Feng treated them so generously. Other than Zhou Tian, the rest of the odd-job disciples were worried when they came. They were afraid that Qin Feng would chase them away and look down on them. But now, their uneasiness had completely disappeared. Thank you for taking us in, Big Brother Qin. We will repay your kindness in the future. The group of odd-job disciples knelt and kowtowed. Qin Feng quickly went to help them up. Qin Feng had told them many times not to be polite and to treat this place as their home. However, these odd-job disciples were used to being suppressed since they were young. Their views were the same as Hua Xiaozhen's. Qin Feng called Lu Jie over and asked him to arrange their accommodation and follow-up matters. However, Zhou Tian did not leave. He stood in the house and looked at Qin Feng hesitantly. Zhou Tian, do you have something else to say? Just say it, Qin Feng said with a smile. Zhou Tian gritted his teeth and took out a scroll made of cowhide from his pocket. The scroll looked mysterious and high-class. It did not look like something a servant like Zhou Tian would have. What's this? Qin Feng's interest was piqued. Zhou Tian spread out the cowhide scroll on Feng's back and looked around before saying in a low voice, Big Brother Qin, I stole this from Elder Hunyuan Si. Qin Feng was shocked. Primordial Sea was at the peak of stage 9 immortal chi. Zhou Tian dared to steal from him. Moreover, he succeeded. Zhou Tian saw through Qin Feng's confusion and continued. Just the night before yesterday, when I was cleaning the sect, I inadvertently overheard Hun Yuan Hai and the other 3 elders discussing something important. They planned to explore an ancient martial arts relic. It said that there's a cave abode where a Buddha light stage celestial used to live. After that, I decided to leave the Primordial Sea sect. So, I snuck into Primordial Sea's residence at night. He was cultivating in seclusion, so I took this map of the ancient martial relic with me. I hope it will be of some help to Big Brother Qin's cultivation. Qin Feng was touched after listening to Zhou Tian's story. This map was the ancient martial relic that Primordial Sea's 4 elders were going to explore. However, with Zhou Tian's current strength, he did not dare to go recklessly even with the map. The reason why he risked his life to bring the map out was to help Qin Feng. Brother Zhou, thank you for the map. You can cultivate here with peace of mind. I can guarantee that you will break through to the Sage King realm. The 2 of them chatted for a long time. Zhou Tian was extremely excited. He knew that he had followed the right big brother. In the next few days, Qin Feng began to train Zhou Tian, Lu Jie, and the others. Half of them were odd-job disciples, and their strength was below stage 3 immortal chi. The other half came from the secular world of China, and some of them were still in the inner chi stage. Qin Feng had used the medicinal herbs sent by the Ma family to refine many immortal cloud pills. These pills were only first-grade miraculous pills in the divine continent, but they were the best pills for breaking through to stage 1 immortal chi. With the help of the pills, everyone in Hero City entered the immortal chi stage in just 3 days. Su Ruoro and Zhao Lingxian were accepted as core disciples by Primordial Sea sect. When they left the Primordial Sea sect, they had entered stage 4 immortal chi. Now, with Qin Feng's focus on training, the 2 of them broke through to stage 6 immortal chi. After a few days, Hero City's strength had increased greatly. Other than Qin Feng, Zhao Lingxian and Su Ruoro were the main force. There were also Zhou Tian and a group of odd-job disciples who had entered stage for immortal chi as the backbone. Seeing that the situation in Luoyang City was becoming more stable, Qin Feng set out to look for new opportunities to break through. He knew that he could still break through slowly in Luoyang City, but the speed of his breakthrough made him uneasy, especially in the divine continent, where there were many powerful cultivators. Qin Feng did not dare to slack off in his cultivation. The divine continent was vast. Just the size of the North Sand continent was enough to shock Qin Feng. He spent 5 days on the road, wandering around aimlessly. Qin Feng wanted to familiarize himself with the situation in the North Sand continent, but the journey almost made him dizzy. This place looks familiar. Qin Feng was speeding through the sky on his flying sword. Suddenly, he rushed toward a city in the southwest. As he got closer to the city, Qin Feng finally realized that he had been here before. Wasn't this the base of the Primordial Sea sect? After 2 months, when Qin Feng stepped through the gates of the Primordial Sea sect again, his state of mind and strength had gone through earth-shattering changes. Back then, he was forced by Primordial Sea sect and had no choice but to bring Su Ruoro and the other girls to this sect. Later on, he was arranged to be odd-job disciples, and he was even plotted against by Primordial Sea sect's people. Now that he had come here by accident, Qin Feng wanted to settle old scores with these people. Hey, this is the base of the Primordial Sea sect, a 3-star righteous sect. Unauthorized people are not allowed to enter. Qin Feng had just put away his flying sword and landed on the ground when he was stopped by a group of guarding disciples. These guarding disciples had average statuses in the Primordial Sea sect. They were all outer disciples. Qin Feng glanced at them casually. The strongest among them was only at stage 5 immortal chi. Today I, Qin Feng, am here to settle old scores with the Primordial Sea sect. If you don't want to die, scram. Qin Feng ignored their words. His expression was indifferent, and his voice was so cold that it was about to freeze. The 20 or so guarding disciples were instantly enraged. Some of them were about to charge at Qin Feng with their sabers, but before they could swing their sabers, a scream was heard. Qin Feng? You're the Qin Feng who took first place on the dragon leaderboard 2 months ago? Fuck, it's really Qin Feng. He's back. Chapter 1536. In just 2 months, Qin Feng's appearance hadn't changed much. However, his aura had changed drastically. He was ethereal and mysterious like an immortal. Qin Feng ignored the dozen or so disciples who fled in fear. He looked at the others who were still standing at the gate and asked, "Where's Hun Fei now?" The person Qin Feng wanted to kill the most in Hun Yuan's sect was Hun Fei. Then he had to find Hun Yuan Hai and Hun Tianjiao. After recognizing Qin Feng, the disciples who were guarding the gate trembled uncontrollably. Some of them opened and closed their mouths, but they were so scared that they couldn't even speak. Qin, senior brother Qin Feng, Hun Fei should be at the stud farm. The eldest disciple finally spoke. As soon as he finished speaking, a white shadow flashed and Qin Feng disappeared. The disciples didn't know what was going on and lowered their heads in fear. After a while, when Qin Feng didn't say anything, some of them looked up carefully. Qin Feng is gone. He actually came to Hun Yuan's sect to kill Hun Fei. This person is really fierce. Now that the 4 elders of the sect are hunting him down, he still dares to come back? Let's wait for the news of his death. Qin Feng had already arrived at the stud farm and didn't know what the disciples were talking about. Hun Yuan's sect was a 3-star sect in the North Sand Continent. The construction of the base and the size of the sect was quite good. The stud farm alone was as spacious as a dozen football fields. On the stud farm, many servant disciples were cleaning the horse dung. There were many servant disciples in Hun Yuan's sect, but Zhou Tian only brought a dozen of them to Luoyang City. Crack! Under the scorching sun, the sound of a whip could be heard from time to time, followed by the screams of servant disciples. In the center of the field, Hun Fei was wearing a noble outer disciple uniform and long boots. He was holding a horsewhip with the tail stained with horse dung. He was using the horsewhip to whip the servant disciples. The disciples were half naked, and their chests and backs were covered with blood and yellow horse dung. Even his pants were torn to shreds, hanging on his body like strips of cloth. "You bunch of trash. Why are you so slow at picking up horse dung? Do you want to eat tonight?" Crack! How dare you stare at me? I'll whip you to death. Do you know why I hit you? It's all because of Qin Feng's escape that harmed all of you odd job disciples. Right now, the 4 elders of the sect are going all out to capture Qin Feng. You guys definitely know where that brat is hiding. I want to see how stubborn you guys are. Are you going to tell me or not? Hun Fei was like a demon. The horsewhip in his hand never stopped lashing at the odd job disciples. Everyone suppressed their anger, but no one dared to resist. These people were the poorest people of the Divine Continent. They had been instilled with the idea of being lowly since they were young, just like Hua Xiaojin. Another whip fell, and an old man was knocked unconscious on the ground. This old man was really pitiful. He was already so old, but he had no progress on the path of martial cultivation. He had just stepped into Immortal Qi Stage 4, but he couldn't even become an outer sect disciple of Hun Yuan's sect. "Uncle Wang, are you all right? You bastard, are you trying to kill me? We don't know where Qin Feng is. If we knew, we would have gone to him a long time ago. And you bastard, when Big Brother Qin returns, it will be the time of your death." The people who were working with all their might stopped. They were angered by Hun Fei. Facing the angry glares of dozens of odd-job disciples, Hun Fei had a playful look on his face. He swung the horsewhip in his hand and looked at the crowd contemptuously. What kind of daydream are you guys having? That kid with the surname Qin is wanted by the 4 elders. He can't even protect himself now. Do you guys still expect him to come back and save you? Hun Fei's words woke everyone up. Although Qin Feng had topped the dragon leaderboard 2 months ago and became the strongest disciple of Hun Yuan's sect, no one was optimistic about Qin Feng's chances. Compared to the 4 great elders, no one was optimistic about Qin Feng's chances. "Oh, you said I don't dare to come back? Aren't I here now?" Just as the atmosphere was in a deadlock, a cold laugh was heard. Everyone's expressions changed drastically. Although no one had seen Qin Feng's figure, everyone recognized his familiar voice. Am I hallucinating? Why did I hear Big Brother Qin's voice? I heard it too. Big Brother Qin might really be back. The group of odd-job disciples instantly became excited. Everyone looked around with anticipation. Hun Fei was startled. His legs were trembling uncontrollably. However, he still pretended to be calm. He didn't believe that Qin Feng would dare to come back at this time. What are you guys shouting for? Qin Feng won't come back. I think you guys are looking for a beating. Hun Fei waved his hand. He wanted to vent his uneasiness on these odd-job disciples. However, when his hand fell, there was no dull sound of the whip. Hun Fei looked at his hand subconsciously. The horse whip had disappeared. Crack! The sound of the whip was a second late. What followed was Hun Fei's heart-wrenching scream. Everyone was dumbfounded. Qin Feng was standing in the middle of the horse field. His white robe fluttered in the wind. He waved the horse whip in his hand like a god of war. With a simple whip, the black robe on Hun Fei's upper body was directly split into two. A bright red whip mark extended from his chin to his stomach. It was a shocking sight. Hun Fei, I think I didn't beat you enough last time. Do you have a bad memory? Qin Feng looked at Hun Fei as if he was looking at an ant. There was no emotion in his voice. Hun Fei realized that Qin Feng was really back. He was so scared that his legs went soft. He felt like he was going to kneel on the ground at any time. You brat, you still dare to come back? Wait for me. I'll go report to the little elder now. Hun Fei turned around and was about to run. However, before he could run 2 steps, Qin Feng waved his hand. The horse whip pulled out a whip shadow that was dozens of meters long and instantly sent him flying to the ground. This whip was very fierce. It sent Hun Fei flying dozens of meters away. When he landed, he smashed a small pit on the flat ground. The hundreds of odd-job disciples were stunned. They found that Qin Feng was even more ferocious than before. Hun Fei was so powerful and overbearing in everyone's eyes. However, in front of Qin Feng, he was as pitiful as a baby. But no one really sympathized with Hun Fei. He only had himself to blame for what happened today. When Qin Feng swaggered to Hun Fei's side, he was so scared that he stopped screaming. After that whip, Hun Fei didn't even have the strength to stand up. He could only sit on the ground and look up at Qin Feng. Don't mess around. Right now, everyone in the Hunyuan sect is looking for you. If you confess, you could be lenient. But if you dare to kill me, the Hunyuan sect will never let you go. Chapter 1537. Crack! The dull sound of the whip exploded in the empty horse field. Qin Feng's whip directly smashed a piece of bone on Hun Fei's shoulder. Hun Fei let out an earth-shattering scream. The skin on his shoulder was rotten, and the white bones inside could be seen. Mixed with blood and horse dung, many handyman disciples were so scared that they fell to the ground. Qin Feng, you really dare to hit me? Stop right now, or else I'll make sure you'll have to face the consequences. Why are you idiots still standing there? Go and report to the little elder, or none of you will be able to escape. Hun Fei was beaten, and he roared at the crowd like a mad beast. Everyone knew that the sect was now trying to arrest Qin Feng, but those handyman disciples still stood where they were, and no one was willing to help Hun Fei call the little elder. Qin Feng didn't care about Hun Fei's threat. After killing Hun Fei, he still had to find the great elder of the Hunyuan Sea. Qin Feng raised his hand, and this time, the horse whip left dozens of shadows in the sky. All the whip shadows fell on Hun Fei, whipping him from the ground into the air. Bang, bang, bang. A burst of chaotic sounds exploded in the void. Hun Fei's body was covered with blood marks, and he could no longer stop screaming. Qin Feng looked indifferent. When he saw that Hun Fei was about to fall to the ground, he waved the whip again, as if he was whipping a toy. Hun Fei, I should have killed you long ago and let you survive until today, but the ending is still the same. Qin Feng's cold voice sounded, and a violent aura surged from his body, forcing those handyman disciples to retreat dozens of steps. Another whip fell, and this whip was obviously several times stronger. There seemed to be a muffled thunder in the air, and when the whip shadow fell on Hun Fei, he instantly burst like fireworks. Rumble. The explosion hadn't stopped, and the hundreds of handyman disciples were dumbfounded. Hun Fei had long been notorious in the handyman area of the Hunyuan sect, and every handyman disciple wanted him to die. Now that they saw him die so tragically, they all cheered in their hearts. Big Brother Qin, you should leave quickly. It will be troublesome if the little elders rush over. After a while, someone finally woke up and hurriedly urged Qin Feng. But before Qin Feng left, a rush of footsteps came from afar. Swish, swish, swish. Not long after, 8 black figures landed on the ground and surrounded Qin Feng. On the other side, there were many disciples rushing over. From the looks of it, there were at least 100 people. Qin Feng, how dare you kill someone in the Hunyuan sect? The first 8 people were the Primordial Chaos sect's junior elders. Their status was only 1 level lower than the 4 great elders of the Primordial Chaos Sea. In order to become a junior elder of the Hunyuan sect, one had to reach the early stage of Immortal Qi Stage 9 at the very least. The 8 of them glared fiercely at Qin Feng. Apart from anger, there was no trace of fear or worry in their eyes. Even though they knew that Qin Feng had taken first place on the dragon leaderboard not long ago, he had only been at the 7th stage of the Immortal Qi level. Even if he had killed Hun Qianquan, he would at most be at the 8th stage of the Immortal Qi level. In the eyes of the group of junior elders, this kind of strength was not worth mentioning. Not good, the little elder and the other disciples are here. Big Brother Qin, run. We'll help you delay them. The odd job disciples were so scared that they were a loss. They knew that they wouldn't be able to withstand even one move from the young elder, but they still stood up to help Qin Feng at the most critical moment. The young elder's representative laughed. Huh, do you think you can rebel with trash like you? Get out of my way, or else I'll make you pay. As the elder roared, a violent aura exploded from his body, causing many people to kneel on the ground. However, when the elder looked at Qin Feng, he was shocked to find that Qin Feng's expression didn't change. It was as if nothing had happened. Stinking brat, I advise you to surrender and wait for the punishment from the elders of the Primordial Chaos Sea and Hun Tianjiao. The young elder's representative shouted. Qin Feng sneered. Huh, then I'll give you a chance. I came to the Hunyuan sect mainly to kill Hun Fei and the Primordial Chaos Sea. If anyone else dares to stop me, I'll kill them. At this moment, Qin Feng was surrounded by the 8 young elders. Batches after batches of inner and core disciples also rushed over. Just this lineup alone was enough to scare the odd job disciples. Yet, Qin Feng still dared to say such ruthless words. It really shocked everyone. The 8 young elders' expressions turned cold, and they gritted their teeth in anger. Oomph. You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Don't think that you can be lawless just because you killed Hun Qianquan and obtained the first place on the dragon leaderboard. To put it bluntly, you're just the most powerful disciple among the disciples. In the eyes of us elders, you're even worse than a dog. The young elder's representative roared and suddenly slapped at Qin Feng. The other 7 elders stood still with playful expressions. They didn't plan to make a move at all. The odd job disciples were nervous. They wanted to help Qin Feng, but their cultivation levels were too low. They didn't even have the chance to make a move. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, there was a loud explosion. The intense movement was like a landslide. The young elders' expressions became more and more playful. The odd job disciples even closed their eyes, not daring to see the scene of Qin Feng exploding. Big Brother Qin is okay? Suddenly, someone screamed, which woke everyone up. The 7 young elders also heard the voice and looked over. The smiles on their faces suddenly froze. They widened their old eyes and opened their mouths wide. Instantly, they turned into 7 stone statues. The crowd was in an uproar. Both the odd job disciples and the inner sect disciples were shocked. There was a puddle of blood on the flat ground in front of Qin Feng, but young Elder Hun Chao was nowhere to be seen. But everyone guessed that Hun Chao couldn't have been smashed in a meat paste by Qin Feng, right? You dare to kill Elder Hun Chao? You're too arrogant. Everyone, don't talk nonsense with him. Let's kill this brat together. Hun Chao was the one with the highest status and the highest cultivation level among the 8 young elders. He had already stepped into the late stage of Immortal Chi Stage 9 and could be promoted to Great Elder at any time. But such a powerful cultivator was killed by Qin Feng with a single palm. The remaining 7 elders were more or less afraid, so they joined forces and launched a fierce attack. Rumble. In an instant, the 7 of them got into formation. Their attacks were unusually fierce. The weather changed dramatically, and the saber light was as dense as rain. The odd-job disciples had long since hidden hundreds of meters away, not daring to approach. Even the intersect disciples and core disciples who rushed hurriedly retreated. The 7 young elders were all in the middle stage of Immortal Chi Stage 9. But when they joined forces, their strength increased greatly. It seemed like they could kill a pinnacle Immortal Chi Stage 9. A mere disciple dares to behave atrociously in the Hunyuan sect. Let the 7 of us kill you with our own hands. Once the saber formation was formed, the 7 young elders immediately became complacent. The Hunyuan sect was a sect that specialized in saber techniques. The 7 young elders all pulled out long sabers from behind their backs. The saber shadows were densely packed, as if they had condensed into a large solid net that fell from the sky. Oh no, Big Brother Qin is in danger. Oof. This brat gave up being the #1 disciple and ran away with the cultivation resources. Is there something wrong with his head? He even dared to kill Hun Chinkuan's great senior brother. He's not leaving a way out for himself. The crowd watched the battle. When they saw the saber screen falling, everyone realized that Qin Feng was going to die. The 7 young elders' faces were filled with playfulness again. But when they saw Qin Feng standing motionlessly under the saber screen with an indifferent expression, they were somewhat confused. Arrow come! Swoosh! Qin Feng suddenly shouted, and a flying arrow that shone with a pure, white holy light descended from the sky. Before the crowd could react, Qin Feng had already drawn his heavenly hawk bow. Swoosh! The cloud-piercing arrow pierced through the sky, and the seemingly hard saber screen was pierced through like tofu. But the flying arrow didn't stop. It went straight for the body of one of the young elders and pierced through his heart. Rumble! The young elder exploded, and the saber formation that the 7 young elders had set up was instantly broken. Before the remaining 6 young elders could react, Qin Feng leaped into the sky and slashed down with the saber. Instantly, a golden light that was hundreds of meters long shone, and it landed on the ground like a long dragon. Rumble! The sound of the explosion didn't stop. Now that Qin Feng had stepped into the Saint King stage, the saber under the golden phoenix was extremely violent and turbulent. The 6 young elders of the Immortal Chi stage didn't even have the chance to escape, and they were all blasted into pieces. The battlefield was filled with dust and dirt. For a moment, the disciples couldn't see the situation inside clearly. When the dust settled, the whole horse field fell into a cold silence. The 8 young elders are dead. Isn't that guy only at stage 7 Immortal Chi stage? How'd he kill the 8 young elders? It's over, it's over. Qin Feng obviously isn't at stage 7 Immortal Chi stage. I feel that the Hunyuan sect is going to be annihilated. Everyone was shocked by Qin Feng's strength. The inner disciples who had a playful look on their faces were now pale with fright. After Qin Feng killed the 8 young elders, he walked to the side of the odd-job disciples, as if nothing had happened. Hu Fei is dead, and your revenge has been avenged. In the future, the Hunyuan sect will not be as good as before. If you want to leave this place, you could go to Hero City in Luo City. Zhou Tian and the others have already gone there. Qin Feng's words made the odd-job disciples shed tears of gratitude. They were used to being bullied by others, but they didn't expect that a powerful person like Qin Feng would be willing to help them. By the way, where's the Hunyuan Sea? Qin Feng got to the point. The group of odd-job disciples used to be very afraid of the great elder of the Hunyuan Sea, but now that they had Qin Feng's support, they didn't even feel nervous or afraid. Big Brother Qin, the Hunyuan Sea, and the other 3 great elders left the day before yesterday. A disciple stood up and said. Qin Feng was stunned. Do you know where they went? We're just odd job disciples, so we don't know. The disciple looked at Qin Feng apologetically. Although these odd job disciples didn't know the specific situation, Qin Feng already had a guess. According to the map of the ancient martial relic that Zhou Tian gave him, the 4 great elders from the Hunyuan Sea probably teamed up to explore. This made Qin Feng a little anxious. Rumor had it that the ancient martial relic used to be the cultivation cave abode of a Buddha Light Realm powerhouse. Such a powerhouse would definitely leave a lot of cultivation resources in the cave abode. Qin Feng couldn't let the Hunyuan Sea and the others snatch them away. What happened here? Where are the 4 guys from the Hunyuan Sea? Just when Qin Feng was about to rush to the ancient martial relic, an old voice came from afar. His voice was as deep as thunder, and it echoed in the surroundings. However, everyone looked around and couldn't see the person who spoke. Bookmark for easier reading. Chapter 1538. Qin Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. He could already feel a majestic aura surging towards him. This aura definitely surpassed the immortal Qi realm. The person who came was actually a Saint King realm expert. It's the sect leader of Azure Sky. Someone in the crowd shouted. His voice scared everyone silly. As the sect leader of Hunyuan sect, Hun Qingtian had always been elusive. More than half of the disciples in the sect had entered the sect for 3 to 5 years, but they didn't even know what Hun Qingtian looked like. However, there was a rumor in the sect that the sect leader of Azure Sky was the only person in the sect who had stepped into the Saint King realm. It was also his strength that supported the development of Hunyuan sect, allowing the sect to become a 3-star sect in the northern Sand Continent. While the crowd was in a heated discussion, a strong wind suddenly blew. Before anyone noticed, an old man in a black robe was already standing in front of Qin Feng. Who are you? How dare you cause trouble in my Hunyuan sect? The old man was not angry, but his voice was extremely penetrating. Although his white hair was fluttering, his old eyes were clear and bright. His face was ruddy, and he looked more energetic than a young man in his 20s. The disciples of Hunyuan sect were so scared by the old man that they did not dare to breathe. A few disciples who had seen Hun Qingtian before were sure that the person who came was the sect leader of Hunyuan sect. Qin Feng's expression became a bit more serious. He didn't need an introduction to guess the identity of the person who had come. When Qin Feng first entered Hunyuan sect, he had heard rumors about Hun Qingtian. This old man was a Saint King realm expert, but he did not know which Saint King realm he was at. I'm Qin Feng from Hero City. I came to Hunyuan sect to deal with some conflicts. After coming back to his senses, Qin Feng looked indifferent. His words caused the crowd to exclaim. The disciples of Hunyuan sect knew that Qin Feng was arrogant, but they did not expect him to be so domineering in front of the sect leader of Azure Sky. Hun Qingtian's expression changed. Obviously, he did not expect Qin Feng to be so arrogant. He had been cultivating in seclusion, so he did not know much about the sect competition. Therefore, he had not heard of Qin Feng. You killed the 8 young elders? Hun Qingtian's tone was cold. That's right. Not only did I kill the 8 elders, but I also killed Hun Li, Hun Fei, Hun Zhen, and Hun Qiankuan. This time, I'm here to annihilate the primordial sea. Qin Feng said firmly. Hun Fei and the others were just insignificant disciples of the Hunyuan sect. Hun Qingtian had never heard of them. But when Hun Qingtian heard Hunyuan Hai's name, he was infuriated. Hunyuan Hai was one of his disciples, and he had groomed him to become the great elder of Hunyuan sect. One arrogant kid. Today, I'll show you the true strength of the Hunyuan sect. Hun Qingtian was completely enraged and suddenly struck out with his palm. His palms were thin and shriveled, and the speed at which he attacked seemed slow and ordinary. However, Qin Feng's expression instantly changed, and he hurriedly stepped on his flying sword to dodge. Rumble. Hun Qingtian's palm clearly hadn't landed completely, but a loud sound rang out from the empty space where Qin Feng was standing. The explosion was incomparably intense, turning the flat ground into a crater. A violent aura swept across the ground, instantly scaring the disciples into retreating 100 meters away. Boy, you do have some ability. Unfortunately, you will only die in my hands. Han Qingtian's expression changed slightly, but he quickly struck out with his palm again. The sound of the explosion rose from the flat ground to midair, and it felt like a tank was firing into the air. Qin Fen leaped around on his flying sword, and wherever he went, the air around him would surge and explode. Han Qingtian's attack was unusually fierce, and Qin Fen couldn't fight back for a moment. How dare you come to Han Yuan's sect to cause trouble with such little ability? You really don't know your place. After a round of fighting, Han Qingtian had gained a slight upper hand, and he immediately shouted proudly. He waved his hand, and a flying sword shot out from his body. The flying sword emitted a pink glow, and it shot into the sky like a sharp arrow. Swoosh! Qin Fen leaped and dodged the flying sword's attack. He raised his eyebrows, and his expression was as cold as ice. With a slight thought, the galaxy flying sword under his feet shot out. Clang! Suddenly, there was a loud sound of metal clashing in the sky. The two flying swords fought in midair, and the magical scene caused the crowd to exclaim, "Good lad, you have quite a lot of flying treasures on you. Once I destroy you, they will all be mine." Han Qingtian looked at the sky with a burning gaze. After Qin Fen took out his flying sword, a pair of golden wheels appeared under his feet. Under the control of the two's thoughts, the two flying swords continuously collided in the sky. Every collision was like the collision of two speeding trains. Old man, your flying sword is not that great." Qin Fen's eyes lit up. He saw that Han Qingtian's flying sword had many cracks on its body after several collisions. In fact, there were many venerable ones in the Divine Continent who owned flying swords, but most of their flying swords were used for flying. When they were forging flying swords, they did not pay much attention to the sword's strength and attack power. This was similar to the pink flying sword that Qin Fen forged in Luo City. This flying sword was too inferior compared to Qin Fen's galaxy flying sword. Clang! As soon as Qin Fen's voice fell, a crisp sound echoed in the sky. Under the crowd's incredulous gaze, Han Qingtian's flying sword broke in midair, falling into two pieces on the ground. Although Qin Fen was not interested in this flying sword, Han Qingtian had spent a lot of effort to obtain it. Now that his flying sword was broken, he was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. "Qin Fen, if I don't kill you today, I will not live up to my title as the Han Yuan sect leader." Han Qingtian ignored the broken sword on the ground and charged at Qin Fen with a roar. Although the old man was old, he was agile. His speed was as fast as an arrow, and he reached Qin Fen in a few breaths. Rumble! A loud sound was heard. The old man pulled his saber across the air without saying a word. The airflow around Qin Fen changed drastically, and a gust of wind blew. The Han Yuan sect focused on cultivating saber skills. Under Han Qingtian's ferocious saber chi, Qin Fen did not face it head-on. Instead, he stepped on his golden wheels and quickly retreated. In the blink of an eye, Qin Fen was already 100 meters away. Before Han Qingtian's saber could land a second strike, he had already thrown the golden phoenix in his hand. Rumble! A golden dragon whizzed out, as if it could split the heavens and the earth. Han Qingtian's expression changed, and he quickly turned the back of his saber and slashed around himself. Han Yuan's 7-saber technique, Frozen Sky. The old man used the third saber technique as soon as he attacked, which showed how powerful he was. Suddenly, there was a huge change in the weather, and a blizzard suddenly appeared around him, giving people the feeling that they had transmigrated into a world of ice and snow. The power of Frozen Sky that Han Qingtian used was dozens of times stronger than the Han Qianquan that he used during the sect competition. The sky full of ice condensed into a solid layer of ice, and hundreds of ice walls overlapped in front of him. Rumble! The golden phoenix fell and smashed on the overlapping layers of ice. Loud explosions sounded one after another, and the ice exploded again and again, forming a spectacular scene of ice shards flying in the air. However, when the power of Qin Fun's saber completely dissipated, it did not hurt Han Qingtian at all. The Han Yuan 7 saber technique is a supreme heaven-tier skill. It's not something a kid like you can break. Han Qingtian laughed proudly. When Qin Fun fought with Han Zhen on the Celestial Fox Mountain, he had seen the power of the Han Yuan 7 saber technique and could see how profound and powerful it was. Now that Han Qingtian, who was a Saint King, had fully demonstrated the power of the Han Yuan 7 saber technique, even Qin Fun was moved. Ding! The Hedonist Sovereign System has issued a quest. Collect supreme martial skills and cultivation methods. There is no time limit for the quest. The quest reward will be given according to the level of the martial skills and cultivation methods collected. The system's notification suddenly rang in Qin Fun's mind. To be honest, he had not heard the system issue a quest for a long time. Master, due to the sudden fusion of the Divine Supreme Mainland, the system's magnetic field has been greatly disturbed, and the system has been in a self-repair phase. Now that the initial repair is complete, we will continue to issue other quests. Little Pig explained. Qin Fun understood. Back then, he had spent 300,000 hedonist points to repair the Hero Alliance's communication function. While Qin Fun was still in a daze, Han Qingtian suddenly attacked. He waved his hand, and the hundreds of ice shards around him shot into the air like arrows. Rumble! The ice shards were as fast as flying arrows, piercing through the air. The sound of the wind breaking was like the roars of wild beasts. Just the sound of it made the disciples watching from afar shudder. In a breath's time, Qin Fun was enveloped by the ice shards. Just when everyone thought he was going to be pierced by thousands of arrows, a ball of intense purple flames rose from his body. The flames burned more and more intensely, and in the end, it turned into countless small fireballs that fell to the ground, as if it was raining fire. Whoosh! The ice melted when it came into contact with the purple cloud of mortal fire, producing a crisp sound. Seeing that the flames were about to burn Han Qingtian, the old man finally came to his senses and retreated hundreds of meters away in disbelief. Rumble! The ground where he had been standing was blasted into ruins by the fireballs. The terrifying power of the flames made Han Qingtian's heart tremble. His expression became serious for the first time, and his old eyes flashed with a cold light. "You're so young, but you've already reached the Saint King stage?" Han Qingtian finally recognized Qin Fun's strength. He was actually Saint King stage powerhouse. As soon as he said this, the surrounding disciples were in an uproar. Everyone knew that Qin Fun was very powerful, but they never expected him to be a Saint King stage powerhouse. Did sect leader Qingtian make a mistake? If I remember correctly, Qin Fun was only at stage 7 Immortal Qi 2 months ago. No matter how fast he broke through, he would at most reach stage 8 Immortal Qi in 2 months. Big Brother Qin is only in his early 20s, but he has already reached stage 8 Immortal Qi. I don't think there's a monster like him in the entire North Sand region, right? No wonder he dared to kill his way into Han Yuan sect alone, and even mentioned that he wanted to kill Han Yuan C's Great Elder. He really does have the strength to do so. The discussions on the ground continued, and Han Qingtian's face turned ashen when he heard these voices. He was a dignified sect leader, a Saint King Stage 2 powerhouse, but now he was being overshadowed by a young boy. His gaze suddenly fell on Qin Fun, as if he was looking at a dead man. Bookmark for easier reading. Chapter 1539. I admit that your cultivation level is beyond my expectations, but even so, you're still going to die today. Han Qingtian raised his head and roared like a mad lion. The purple cloud, celestial fire continued to fall from the sky. Han Qingtian attacked again. His body was covered in ice and snow, and he used the ice as his armor as he charged at Qin Fun. "I'd like to see how powerful your flames are." Whoosh! As soon as he roared, hundreds of ice spikes rose into the sky. However, the ice could not withstand a single blow from the purple cloud's celestial fire. Like ordinary ice cubes exposed to the sun, they melted and disappeared instantly. when Hun Qing Tian was a dozen or so meters away from Qin Feng. Even the layer of ice around him began to melt. The sudden rise in temperature almost cooked him. This is a heavenly flame. How can the ice formed from your immortal qi withstand it? Qin Feng stood on the whirlwind golden wheel and hovered in the air. The lava flying armor on his body burned like fire. He ignored Hun Qingtian's ice sky attack and was as majestic and powerful as the god of war. Boom! Hun Qingtian was forced to retreat. As soon as his feet touched the ground, he slashed at the air again. Suddenly, the weather changed. A large black cloud formed in the air above Qin Feng's head. The sword qi was as dense as the clouds, and there were purple lightning flashing within it. There were loud, crackling sounds. Hun Qingtian did not need to say anything. The surrounding disciples were already screaming. Mixed Element 7 Saber's 4th style, Thunder Collapse. 2 months ago, Hun Qingquan's eldest senior brother used this move during the sect competition. However, his cultivation level was limited, and he could only use the Thunder Collapse move, but its power was greatly reduced. Now that sect leader Qingtian's Thunder Collapse is 10 times more powerful, Qin Feng is doomed. As soon as the Thunder Collapse was used, it felt like heaven and earth were shaking. Qin Feng frowned. He looked up at the lightning above him and suddenly had an ominous feeling. Boom! Before Qin Feng could react, the first lightning had already struck. The purple lightning was as thick as an arm, and it instantly pierced through the air, leaving a huge crater in the ground. The lightning brushed past Qin Feng's body. If he was a second late, he would have been hit. Rumble. However, the lightning had only just begun. The thunderclouds in the sky moved rapidly as Qin Feng flew. Thunder boomed everywhere he went, and dozens of lightning bolts struck down at the same time. It was a spectacular scene, as if the end of the world had arrived. Under such a powerful lightning strike, Qin Feng was struck by it in a moment of carelessness. When the arm-thick bolt of lightning smashed into his body, the huge explosion sent him flying to the ground. Bang! A huge crater appeared on the ground, and thick black smoke rose from the crater. The lava-flying armor on Qin Feng's body dimmed significantly as he activated the second stage of the Vajraart's Silver Blood avatar. Rumble. The thunder was still undulating, and a lot of lightning exploded around the sinkhole, like a series of bombs dropped by fighter jets. Hun Qingtian landed on the edge of the sinkhole in one leap. He couldn't stop laughing maniacally when he saw Qin Feng lying in the sinkhole. Haha, do you know how powerful this old man is? What was a mere First Realm Saint King? With this old man's chaotic origin 7 swords, even a third-stage Saint King would not fear me. Qin Feng ignored Hun Qingtian's arrogance. He quickly swallowed some healing pills and suddenly thrust his hand into the void. Hun Qingtian was slightly stunned by his action. There was nothing in Qin Feng's hand, and he didn't know what he was going to do. Rumble. However, in the next moment, Hun Qingtian's expression changed drastically. Qin Feng held a long spear in his hand, and thousands of red rays shot into the sky as he waved it. Hun Qingtian quickly dodged, and the spear rays brushed past his body. In the end, dozens of spear rays still pierced through his body. Fresh blood gushed out of Hun Qingtian's body. He roared in anger and quickly tapped his wound with his finger, stopping the bleeding easily. Brat, you're courting death. Hun Qingtian's expression was ferocious as he swung the large saber in his hand. The saber cloud in the sky became denser, and dozens of lightning bolts struck down at the same time. Bang, bang, bang. The ground was blasted into a cloud of dust, and the disciples standing in the distance felt like there was an earthquake. They couldn't see the battle situation in the distance in the dust, but they had some guesses in their hearts. Under Hun Qingtian's powerful lightning strike, Qin Feng had most likely been blasted into pieces. The sect leader of the Pure Sky sect is indeed the strongest venerable in the Han Yuan sect. How many venerables can withstand this lightning strike? With the sect leader of the Pure Sky sect leading us, our Han Yuan sect will definitely prosper. Big Brother Qin is dead? He won't be killed so easily. The crowd kept discussing and the dust on the battlefield was quickly dissipating. Suddenly, someone exclaimed, "Look at the sky, what's that?" Everyone looked over and was completely stunned by the scene in front of them. A pair of pink wings shone brightly in midair, and the wings moved hundreds of meters with each flap. It was so fast that it was difficult to see it. Under the flow of pink light, the pair of pink wings suddenly hovered in midair. Everyone finally saw the situation clearly. A pair of pink wings grew on Qin Feng's back, and he looked like a god of war had descended. What kind of spiritual weapon is that? Why haven't I seen it before? Han Qingtian was dumbfounded. There were many flying spiritual weapons in the Divine Supreme Continent, such as flying swords, flaming wheels, and even airships. However, it was the first time they saw a flying spiritual weapon like Qin Feng's. On Qin Feng's back was a pair of pink wings, which was his reward for completing the mission of changing Hua Xiaozhen's mind. The pink wings were specialized flying spiritual weapons, and their speed was even faster than the golden whirlwind wheels. It's your problem that you're ignorant, but it doesn't mean that there are no flying spiritual weapons in the Divine Supreme Continent, Qin Feng said indifferently. Han Qingtian was furious. As the sect leader of the Hunyuan sect, he was called ignorant by a kid in his early 20s? I don't care what spiritual weapon you have, it's mine in the end. Han Qingtian's eyes shone with a burning light. He realized that Qin Feng had a lot of treasures, and each one was stronger than the previous one. As soon as he finished speaking, thunder boomed again. Han Qingtian had lost his patience, and he unleashed his most ferocious attack. Dozens of lightning bolts crisscrossed and bombarded, sealing the air around Qin Feng. Swoosh! With a flash of pink light, Qin Feng turned into a shadow and disappeared into the sky. The pink wings were so fast that no one could pinpoint Qin Feng's location. The lightning bolts seemed to be half a beat slower, and they always exploded a dozen meters behind Qin Feng, unable to hurt him at all. Boom! At this moment, there was a sudden explosion. It was not caused by the lightning bolts. Qin Feng paused in the sky for half a second, but it was at this moment that he pulled his bow like a god. Chapter 1540. Boom! Han Qingtian flew to the ground like a cannonball and blasted a huge pit on the flat ground. The black robe on his body had long been torn, and his white hair was also stained with dust. He looked battered and exhausted. The crowd was already dumbfounded. Han Qingtian was the supreme leader of the Hunyuan sect and a level 2 holy king. He was like a god in everyone's eyes, but now he was seriously injured by Qin Feng. Those who had looked down on Qin Feng before stopped talking, and they didn't even have the courage to look at him directly. The Chore's disciples cheered and shouted. They were shocked by Qin Feng's strength again and again. Boom! At this moment, a loud noise came from the huge pit, and Han Qingtian jumped out and stood on the flat ground with a long saber in his hand. He looked up at Qin Feng, who was floating in the air, and his eyes were bloodshot and filled with endless murderous intent. Qin Feng, it's been a long time since anyone could force me into such a situation. In that case, I'll show you the true power of the Hunyuan 7 blades. As Han Qingtian roared, he waved his hand, and the golden saber around him surged with saber chi. There was a big change in the weather, but there was no fire or ice, and it was not a move of thunder. Instead, the saber chi condensed into a golden dragon in the void and flew toward Qin Feng with a ferocious roar. The 5th style of the Hunyuan 7 blades, phantom form. As a member of the Hunyuan sect, it was the first time for everyone present to see the 5th style, phantom form. The golden dragon seemed to have entered an uninhabited place. Wherever it went, there was a burst of wind, and even the clouds in the sky were blown away by it. The dragon was very fast, and it had already arrived in front of Qin Feng in a few roars. Qin Feng frowned. He did not dare to hesitate. He immediately pulled the heavenly eagle bow and shot it. Chirp! The purple eagle swooped down and collided with the dragon in the air. The violent explosion was like a surging tide, and the spreading clouds were like the Wu-Tang Mountain in the morning. Oomph! You want to break my phantom form with a mere bow? Go to hell. After Hun Qingtian used the fifth style of phantom form, his aura skyrocketed. He slashed again, and the second golden dragon soared into the sky. The purple heavenly eagle was clearly no match for the golden dragon. It was torn to shreds by the golden dragon's sharp claws. Without waiting for Qin Feng to draw his bow again, the long dragon swung its tail and sent him flying to the ground. "Ha! Weak ant, today will be the day you die." Hun Qingtian leaped up again, laughed thrice, and flew toward where Qin Feng had landed. As soon as he was in midair, the golden saber in his hand swung down. This time, the saber chi condensed into thousands of sharp golden flying arrows, falling like dense raindrops. Qin Feng was anxiously lying at the bottom of the pit. He had already seen through the power of the fifth style of the mixed origin seven sabers, illusion. Mixed Sky could transform the saber chi into any shape to launch an attack. He could achieve unity with the saber and move as he wished. Rumble. Qin Feng gritted his teeth and shot out a patch of purple dusk and mortal fire. Those flying arrows had nowhere to hide in the fire and instantly turned into smoke and dissipated. Hun Qingtian did not mind. He knew how powerful Qin Feng's purple cloud immortal fire was. But he could also see that unleashing the purple cloud immortal fire required a huge amount of immortal chi and mental energy. With Qin Feng's current condition, he probably wouldn't be able to use it more than a few times. Hun Qingtian slashed down for the third time. This time, the saber chi transformed into hundreds of ferocious beasts that roared and charged toward Qin Feng. Qin Feng had already jumped to the ground. The golden phoenix slashed horizontally, and the row of ferocious beasts instantly disappeared. But then, hundreds of ferocious beasts came from all directions. If they continued fighting like this, Qin Feng would definitely be exhausted to death. Master, if you want to break Hun Qingtian's illusion saber skill, you can't touch the objects formed by the saber chi. You have to destroy Hun Qingtian directly. This is also the principle of capturing the ringleader first. Little Pig's anxious voice came over. Qin Feng had already thought of this, but the illusion saber skill was too fierce and did not give Qin Feng any chance to fight back. He waved his large hands continuously, and any ferocious beasts that got close to him within a range of 10 meters were chopped into smoke and dissipated. His thoughts moved slightly. The cosmic flying sword shot out, leaving a pink shadow in the midst of the ferocious beasts. Rumble. The sound of wind breaking rose and fell, and more than half of the ferocious beasts formed by the saber chi were destroyed by Qin Feng. Hun Qingtian was about to slash again, but Qin Feng took this opportunity to stab his spear through the air. Stab, stab, stab. The rainbow demon storm spear immediately shot out thousands of spear lights. Hun Qingtian smiled lightly and waved his saber lightly. The saber chi condensed into hundreds of protective shields in front of him. The ferocious spear lights pierced through the shields again and again, but the shields seemed to be endless and would always appear in the next moment. The spear landed completely, but it did not hurt Hun Qingtian at all. Hun Qingtian still had some time to spare, so he waved his saber again. The battle between the two was extremely intense, and both of them used all their skills. Under Hun Qingtian's illusion saber skill, Qin Feng could not gain the upper hand at all. He kept defending and retreating, and his body suffered dozens of attacks. Master, you can't go on like this. Hun Qingtian will kill you sooner or later, Little Pig said anxiously. Qin Feng also realized the danger they were in, but Hun Qingtian's mixed element 7 saber technique's fifth form was too powerful. It was worthy of being a heaven-level saber skill, and it was even more profound than Qin Feng's solitary 9 swords. Do you have a way to defeat Hun Qingtian? Qin Feng asked with his thoughts. Actually, after Master broke through to the Saint King stage, you can also use the purple cloud immortal fire to achieve the effect of illusion. Qin Feng was stunned. He really did not know about this. If the purple cloud immortal fire could transform at will like Hun Qingtian saber chi, then it would be a very powerful attack. Little Pig continued, but Master has just stepped into the Saint King stage, so your realm is still on the low side. At most, You can make the purple cloud immortal fire transform once. Master must seize the opportunity. If you fail, you can only run away. To Qin Fun, the opportunity to transform the purple cloud immortal fire was very rare. He was very clear about the power of the immortal fire, and he believed that it would definitely be able to kill Han Qingtian. At this moment, the saber chi that Han Qingtian had unleashed transformed into thousands of boomerangs, and they made a fierce wind-breaking sound in the air. The boomerangs were surrounded by barbs, and if one was not careful, they could cut a person's body in half. Qin Fun was surrounded by a dense rain of boomerangs, and he was about to be crushed into pieces. Oh no, Big Brother Qin is really in danger this time. This battle is full of ups and downs, and it's really exciting. I already said that Qin Fun is no match for the Qingtian sect leader. He will still die in the end. The discussion spread again, and Han Qingtian was full of smiles when he heard it. Qin Fun stood in the circle of boomerangs with a cold expression. When he saw that Han Qingtian had let his guard down, he immediately seized the opportunity. When he opened his eyes, thousands of flames shot out from his body. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The purple dusk immortal fire instantly transformed into sharp arrows that shot through the air. The flying arrows that Qin Fun transformed were much more powerful than the ones that Han Qingtian had transformed. These flying arrows were made of purple cloud immortal fire, and their bodies were red and surging with flames. Wherever they went, even the air seemed to be melting. What the hell is this? You? Han Qingtian was scared silly by this sudden turn of events. He was only stunned for a moment, and the boomerangs formed by the saber chi had already turned into smoke and dissipated. The thousands of flaming arrows whistled through the air, forming a spectacular scene of burning clouds above Han Qingtian's head. The disciples screamed again. In just a few minutes, their nerves were numb from the shock. Han Qingtian was a level 2 Saint King after all, and he quickly came back to his senses. He was not afraid of the fire arrows. He waved his golden saber and formed countless shields in front of him. Bang, 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 bang. The fire arrows landed on the shields, and there was a loud sound of impact. The power of the purple cloud immortal fire was much more powerful than the rainbow demon storm spear. However, Han Qingtian was also very powerful. The golden saber in his hand danced continuously, and he forcibly blocked the mystical fire. Don't force yourself, kid. Just surrender, and I'll give you a quick and painless death. Han Qingtian laughed wildly again. He could see that this was Qin Fun's trump card. In this way, Qin Fun was like a crossbow with a strong bow. Swoosh! But before he could finish laughing, an extremely ear-piercing sound of wind was heard. Han Qingtian hurriedly looked up, and the smile on his face suddenly froze. A fire arrow flew through the sky, but it was several times larger than the other fire arrows formed by the purple cloud immortal fire, and its speed was even more shocking. If one looked closely, the long arrow emitted a pure white holy light, but there was a ball of purple flame flickering at the arrowhead and the tail of the arrow. This arrow was extremely ferocious, and Qin Fun had fused the purple cloud immortal fire into the cloud-piercing arrow. The flying arrow was too fast, and Han Qingtian could not dodge in time. The row of shields formed by saber chi shattered like tofu. In the blink of an eye, there was nothing left in front of Han Qingtian. No. Han Qingtian's strange cry was still echoing in the valley, but his body was pierced by the cloud-piercing arrow. After a second of pause, it exploded like a brilliant firework. Rumble. The loud sound was still echoing, but the Han Yuan sect disciples were still in a daze. After shooting that arrow, Qin Fun's aura was extremely weak. When he landed, he was a little unstable, and he felt like he could be blown away by a gust of wind. But even when Qin Fun was in such a weak state, no disciple dared to stand up and avenge the sect leader of Qingtian. Qin Fun ignored those disciples and went to the area where Han Qingtian had exploded. The ground was splattered with blood and flesh, and a jade ring had fallen into the blood. Ordinary people might think that this jade ring was an ordinary jade ring, but Qin Fun held it in his hand with joy. He knew that this was Han Qingtian's storage ring. On the Divine Continent, most disciples would use a storage pouch. Only the great elders of the Han Yuan Si and sect leaders like Han Qingtian were qualified to wear storage rings. When Qin Fun killed Hun Jun on the Celestial Fox Mountain and took away his storage bag, there were many treasures in it. Now that he was holding the storage ring of a sect leader of the Second Realm, Saint King Realm, one could imagine the treasures inside. Chapter 1541. Soon, Qin Feng discovered that Han Qingtian's storage ring had its spiritual power sealed. Even if an ordinary person obtained this storage ring, they wouldn't be able to take the items inside. However, this was not a problem for Qin Feng. Although his cultivation level was lower than Han Qingtian's by a small level, Qin Feng's mental strength was definitely many times stronger than Han Qingtian's. In just a few short minutes, Qin Feng had forcefully broken the spiritual seal on the ring. Then, Qin Feng was stupefied. There were tens of thousands of high-grade spirit stones, countless middle-grade and low-grade spirit stones, and even the lowest-grade spirit weapon was purple-grade. There were also 2 pink flying swords mixed in. There were more than a dozen types of Tier 4 and Tier 5 elixirs. There were even a few bottles of Tier 6 elixirs. However, there were no Tier 7 elixirs. When Qin Feng roughly scanned through the resources in the storage ring, his eyes suddenly lit up. There were dozens of cultivation and martial skill manuals piled up in a separate corner, and the secret of the primeval Chaos 7 Saber's mental cultivation method was among them. Ding! Congratulations to host Qin Feng for collecting Heaven's Limit Saber Art. Mixed Energy 7 Sabers. The system rewards host Qin Feng 100,000 Hedonist points and a primeval saber. Host Qin Feng's total Hedonist points, 635,000. The system's notification tone rang out. Qin Feng flipped his hand, and a long, dazzling blade appeared in his hand. The primordial Chaos Saber was also a great sage gold-grade spirit weapon. It was shorter than the Golden Phoenix, but its blade was wider. The edge of the saber gleamed coldly, and there were a few holes carved into the back of the saber. Rumble. Qin Feng casually slashed out with his saber. A golden light that was several hundred meters long flashed, and a deep ravine immediately appeared on the ground. The disciples in the distance were startled. Many of them thought that Qin Feng was going to start a massacre. They were so scared that they covered their heads and fled. Master, this primeval saber can be used in conjunction with the primeval 7 sabers martial skill. It can produce unimaginable power, Little Pig explained. Qin Feng nodded with satisfaction. However, he had just obtained the Chaotic Origin 7 saber technique, so he wouldn't be able to use it for the time being. As such, he stored the Chaotic Origin 7 saber technique and Han Qingtian's storage ring into his star ring. Ding! The Hedonist Sovereign System has issued a quest. Create the out-of-print realm's 3rd godly item, imprisonment. There is no time limit for the mission. The reward is yet to be determined. Qin Feng had just put away the items when the system's notification sounded. He opened the out-of-print interface and looked at it. This interface had already forged 2 immortal artifacts, the Starry Sky Flying Sword and the Golden Rock Heavenly Sovereign Armor. Now, the 3rd weapon had also been unlocked. It was a divine weapon. After reading the introduction of the Blade of Imprisonment, Qin Feng was shocked. This was indeed worthy of being called a divine weapon. Once this blade was formed, it could confine space-time and temporarily freeze the environment for a few seconds. The exact length of the pause depended on the level of the attacker's realm. Qin Feng thought that if he had this divine weapon, he would have a chance of escaping even if he encountered a Buddha Light Realm cultivator. However, when he looked at the materials needed to create the shackles, he felt depressed. He didn't even have the main synthetic materials, and it was the first time he had heard of it. Regardless of whether it was the Starry Sky Flying Sword or the Golden Rock Celestial Sovereign Armor, Qin Feng had spent a lot of effort to forge them. Just gathering the materials required a lot of time. Moreover, this godly weapon was even more difficult to synthesize, so Qin Feng could only put this quest aside for now. At this moment, the horse farm of the Hunyuan sect was in a mess, as if a world war had broken out. The group of inner sect disciples and core disciples had long disappeared, leaving only hundreds of odd-job disciples in a daze on the flat ground in the distance. Qin Feng calmed himself down and strode towards the crowd. The odd-job disciples' eyes were filled with awe, and some even took the lead to kneel on the ground. "Senior Qin Feng," everyone shouted in unison. It was a spectacular scene. Qin Feng stood in front of the crowd, waved his hand, and said, "Get up, all of you. I came to the Hunyuan sect this time to take revenge on Huan Fei and Hunyuan Hai. I have no intention of completely destroying the Hunyuan sect." However, the crowd still didn't dare to get up. In their eyes, Qin Feng was extremely powerful, and he was the one who won the first place on the Dragon leaderboard in the sect competition. However, it was an eye-opener for them today. Qin Feng actually killed the 8 junior elders and the Clear Sky sect leader of the Hunyuan sect on his own. "Senior Qin Feng, we don't have much affection for the Hunyuan sect. Even if you want to destroy the sect, it's not our business," someone said carefully. "In that case, go to Luoyang City to find Zhou Tian. Now that the elders and sect leader of the Hunyuan sect are gone, the sect will fall soon. There's no point for you to stay here." The odd-job disciples were touched by Qin Feng's invitation. "Thank you for taking us in, Senior Qin Feng. We'll go to Luoyang City in a while." After settling down the odd-job disciples of the Hunyuan sect, Qin Feng hurried to the 5-element mountain. His main purpose of coming out this time was to find the ancient martial arts relic. The Hunyuan sect completely fell from a 3-star sect because they offended Qin Feng. The odd-job disciples all went to Luoyang City. As for the outer, inner, and core disciples, they all escaped. There was no one in the huge Hunyuan sect now. After half a day's journey, Qin Feng passed by a place called Huacheng. There were many people coming and going at the entrance of Huacheng, and it was a very lively scene. "Brother, what are you going to do?" Qin Feng stopped and asked a random young man. The young man was in his early 20s, dressed in white, and had a handsome face. Qin Feng had already checked his realm, and he had just stepped into Stage 6 Immortal Qi. Although this realm was nothing in the northern sand continent, to be able to reach this level in his early 20s, he could be considered a cultivation genius. "Brother, I'm Changsheng, a disciple of the Central Plains sect. Huacheng is holding its annual auction today, and everyone is going to attend the auction." The young man was also very enthusiastic. Qin Feng said, "Qin Feng, the sect leader of Luoyang City's Hero City." Hearing that Qin Feng was a sect leader at such a young age, Changsheng's eyes lit up. But after thinking for a while, he hadn't heard of Hero City and immediately thought that it was a very small sect. In that case, it wasn't surprising that Qin Feng was a sect leader. "Huacheng's auction? What's so special about it?" Qin Feng continued to ask. Actually, in a place like the Divine Supreme Continent, where cultivation was the main focus, it wasn't strange for various regions to hold auctions, alchemy meetings, and similar activities. But Huacheng's auction attracted so many people to attend, so it was obviously different. Changsheng looked at Qin Feng in surprise, but he still explained patiently. "Brother Qin, don't you know? Countless treasures appear in Huacheng's auction every year, and it's practically the largest auction in the northern sand continent. Therefore, every year, sects disciples, rogue cultivators, and disciples of large clans from various regions would attend. Perhaps they might be able to bid for what they want." The two of them chatted as they walked, and Qin Feng slowly gained a better understanding of Huacheng's auction. It could be said that Huacheng was famous for its auction, and every year it attracted a large number of cultivators to gather there. Qin Feng also found out that Huacheng didn't have any sects or large clans. This city was actually controlled by a rogue cultivator, and there were rumors that the rogue cultivator had already stepped into the Buddha's light realm. Qin Feng originally wanted to go to 5-Element Mountain to look for ancient martial arts relics, but since he came across Huacheng's annual auction, he decided to take a look. Coincidentally, the system's limited edition interface had unlocked the God Weapon shackles, and Qin Feng still lacked a few materials needed for synthesis. Unknowingly, the few of them arrived at the entrance of the auction. Changsheng was accompanied by 3 of her fellow disciples. The entrance of the auction was already filled with people, and everyone was in high spirits as they discussed and discussed. It seemed like they were waiting to enter the auction. Qin Feng blended into the crowd and maintained a low profile. He also deliberately suppressed the aura in his body so that he appeared to be only at the stage 6 immortal Qi realm. Qin Feng looked around. Among the 100 or so people gathered, most of them were at the stage 6 immortal Qi realm, and there were a few Sage King realm experts mixed in. Every Sage King realm expert was the focus of the crowd, and there were many disciples who were trying to curry favor with them. Heroes, Huaqing's annual auction is about to begin. Please enter and take your seats. After waiting for a while, the entrance of the auction house opened. The crowd was instantly excited, and 2 long lines quickly formed to enter the auction house. Big Brother Qin, although Huaqing's auction is free to auction, you have to act according to the circumstances. If there are any treasures that strong cultivators are interested in, it's best to give up on the auction. Changsheng was a good person and told Qin Feng many things to take note of during the auction while they were queuing. In fact, it wasn't Qin Feng's first time attending an auction, and he understood what Changsheng said, especially in a place like the Divine Supreme Continent, where only the strong were respected. If one tried to snatch an item from a powerful senior, even if one managed to obtain it in the end, one would be killed. The 5 of you each pay an entrance fee of 500 high-grade spirit stones. Soon, it was Qin Feng's group of 5 in the queue. According to the rules of the auction, everyone had to pay an entrance fee to enter. Originally, Qin Feng didn't care about this, but he clearly saw that the 2 people who went in before him only paid 200 high-grade spirit stones, so why did it increase to 500 for them? Did you guys make a mistake? Isn't the entrance fee 200 high-grade spirit stones? Qin Feng asked doubtfully. The 2 guards' faces turned cold, but before they could explode, Changsheng hurriedly pulled Qin Feng back and smiled at the guards. Haha, big brothers, don't be angry. 500 high-grade spirit stones, right? That's 2,500 for 5 people. I'll pay you. When the 2 guards saw Changsheng take out a storage bag, their faces turned cold, and they didn't say anything else. However, Qin Feng stopped Changsheng. He wouldn't be suppressed for no reason. Brother Changsheng, don't pay first. I'm afraid these 2 are trying to cheat us, Qin Feng said. Chapter 1542. Changsheng and the rest looked at Qin Feng in surprise. They did not know what he was thinking. It was inevitable that people would be oppressed when they were in a foreign land. However, Changsheng and the rest could accept the additional 300 high-grade spirit stones each. However, if he offended the 2 guards who were at the 8th level of immortal Qi because of this, he would not have a good ending. Big Brother Qin. Changsheng wanted to persuade Qin Feng a bit more, but the 2 guards were already angry. They interrupted him, glared at Qin Feng, and yelled, Yo, what do you mean by this? You don't want to pay the entrance fee? I'm warning you. This flower city is Lord Yan Xianhai's territory. The auction is managed by Senior Yan. You better not cause trouble here. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. The 2 guards' auras surged. The people queuing behind Qin Feng could not help but take a few steps back, keeping a distance from Qin Feng and the rest. Actually, there were many powerful cultivators in the crowd who were at the 9th level of immortal energy or had stepped into the Sage King realm. However, everyone was afraid of the 2 guards. This was because the 2 of them represented Yan Xianhai's dignity. He was rumored to have stepped into the Buddha light realm. I did not say that I will not pay the entrance fee. It's just that I have some doubts about your entrance fee. Could it be that everyone's entrance fee is different? Why did the 2 people who entered earlier only charge 200 spirit stones, but when it came to us, it increased to 500 spirit stones? Just as the atmosphere was stifling, Qin Feng's words shocked the crowd. Everyone was well aware of the problem with the entrance fee. It was fine if the weaker cultivators suffer loss. No one would be stupid enough to say it out loud. Wasn't this a slap to the Flower City auction house's face? However, Qin Feng said it in front of everyone. Many people revealed playful expressions and looked as though they were waiting to see him get beaten up. Stinking brat, Don't slander us. Since when did we bid randomly? Either you obediently pay the entrance fee of 500 spirit stones and enter, or get lost. The two guards' faces turned ashen. Chang Sheng and the rest were so scared that they did not dare to speak up for Qin Feng. Qin Feng's expression was indifferent. The aura of the 6th level of immortal energy he displayed suddenly started to increase. In just a few breaths, it had increased to the 8th level of immortal energy. That brat is so young, but he's actually an expert at the 8th layer of immortal energy. No wonder he's so arrogant. So what if he's at the 8th level of immortal chi? Since he dared to offend the Flower City auction house, he definitely won't have a good ending. No, that's not right. H's aura is still soaring. He's already at the mid-stage of the 9th level of immortal chi. Everyone was shocked by Qin Feng's powerful aura. The ruthless expressions on the two guards' faces quickly disappeared. When they sensed that Qin Feng's aura had stabilized at the pinnacle of Immortal Chi Stage 9, they were so shocked that their eyeballs almost fell to the ground. Actually, the peak of Immortal 9 wasn't much in Flower City, but Qin Feng looked to be in his early 20s. To be able to reach such a realm at such a young age, if he didn't have a powerful sect or family backing him up, no one would believe it. I'll ask you again. How many spirit stones is the entrance fee? Qin Feng asked coldly. At this moment, his aura had reached its peak. He was a first-level Saint King. The crowd screamed in fear, and the two guards were dumbfounded. They had initially thought that Qin Feng was just a little brat with a 6th-stage immortal chi, which was why he wanted to trick them. They didn't expect that they would be tricked this time as well. The entrance fee is the same, 200 top-grade spirit stones per person. After a while, one of the guards braced himself and said, seeing that the other party had retreated, Qin Feng didn't continue to pursue. He immediately threw 1,500 top-grade spirit stones and walked into the auction house with Changsheng and the other three. The farce ended just like that. However, the two guards were really frightened. Later on, they only dared to collect 200 spirit stones per person. Even if they met youngsters with 4th-stage Immortal Chi Stage 4 or 5, they didn't dare to collect more. Who knew if they were also hiding their strength? The auction house was extremely large, and it was divided into 2 areas. In the middle was a public area with more than 30 rows of stone chairs. At the back, there were more than 10 private rooms. It seemed that only people with status could enter. Qin Feng had suddenly decided to come to Flower City's auction house to take a look. He wasn't sure if he would buy anything, so he sat on the stone chairs in the public area with Changsheng and the others. At this moment, Changsheng and the others still had shock in their eyes. It was obvious that they hadn't recovered from Qin Feng's display of strength. Big brother Qin, you've stepped into the Saint King stage? After sitting for a while, Changsheng asked Qin Feng, I've stepped into the Saint King stage not long ago. This bit of strength is nothing in the northern sand continent. It's just that I can't stand the differential treatment of those two guards, so I didn't give in to them. Qin Feng said it very casually, as if the Saint King stage was nothing to him. Changsheng and the 3 disciples exclaimed again. The Central Plains sect that the 4 of them were from was a 4-star sect in the northern sand continent. It was much more powerful than the 3-star sect, Hunyuan sect. Changsheng was a genius disciple of the sect, but she had only stepped into the 6th-stage Immortal Chi stage at the age of 23. On the other hand, Qin Feng was a Saint King at the same age. Big brother Qin, although you've stepped into the Saint King stage, it's better to be careful. Changsheng reminded him in a low voice. Qin Feng understood what Changsheng meant, but he wasn't worried. Although he was a 1st-stage Saint King, he could kill a 2nd-stage Saint King. Moreover, with the speed of the pink afterglow wings, people below the 6th-stage Saint King would not be able to catch up to him. While the few of them were chatting, the auction hall was already filled with people. The dozen or so private rooms at the back were also filled with people. Basically, people from large sects or families had booked one of the rooms. Greetings, heroes! At this moment, an enchanting woman wearing a tight, red cheongsam walked onto the platform. She smiled charmingly as she looked at the crowd and said, I'm everyone's old friend Yao Yao. I'm the host of the Flower City auction. I now announce that the 16th auction of the Flower City will now begin. Please bring out the first auction item. Yao didn't say much. A beautiful MC wearing a pink cheongsam with lotus flowers walked onto the platform with a round plate in her hands. The top of the round plate was covered with a red silk cloth, so it was impossible to see what was inside. The crowd below the stage was instantly energized. A few hundred pairs of eyes stared straight at the round plate on the stage. When Yao saw everyone's impatient expressions, she smiled and pulled open the red silk cloth cover. Heroes, the Flower City auction has always only auctioned rare and precious treasures. This year's first auction item is extraordinary. It's a fire-attributed, high-grade earth-level cultivation technique. The starting price is 1 million high-grade spirit stones, and each increment must be no less than 10,000 spirit stones. As Yao's voice fell, everyone in the auction hall exclaimed, especially those disciples who practiced fire-attributed cultivation techniques. They were so excited that they almost fainted. The cultivation technique grading system in the Divine Supreme Continent was the same as the Hedonist sovereign system. From high to low, they were sovereign level, heaven grade, earth grade, black grade, and yellow grade. Moreover, each grade was further divided into 3 small grades: upper, middle, and lower. A high-grade earth grade cultivation technique was already very rare in the Divine Supreme Continent. 1,100,000 spirit stones. Someone had already shouted out a price, but in the next second, 4 or 5 voices were heard. 1,300,000 spirit stones. 1,500,000. 2 million. A fire-attributed, high-grade earth-grade cultivation technique was sold for 2 million in a matter of minutes. Even Qin Feng was somewhat speechless. Now that Qin Feng's Sacred Medicine Hall and Divine Weapon Hall were on the right track, he could be considered a small, wealthy person. But when he saw those people bidding crazily, Qin Feng realized that he was really too poor compared to them. TSK. It's actually a high-grade, earth-grade cultivation technique. This Flower City auction really doesn't disappoint. It's a pity that our Central Plains sect cultivates wind-attribute cultivation techniques. Changsheng, who was sitting beside Qin Feng, sighed softly. As for the other 3 disciples, they were long dumbfounded. Qin Feng realized that the Flower City auction was indeed amazing. Perhaps there would be an item that caught his eye. He calculated the number of high-grade spirit stones he had on him and discovered that it added up to just over 1 million. That high-grade, earth-grade cultivation technique was finally sold for a high price of 5 million high-grade spirit stones. It was won by a man in a private room in the back row. That man had already gone backstage to handle the handover procedures while the auction hall continued. First, let's congratulate the previous person for winning the bid. Next, let's auction the second treasure. Everyone at the auction used fake names, and many of them even wore veils to cover their faces. The purpose of doing this was to prevent people from plotting against them after the auction ended. It was always a good thing to be on guard. The second item was brought to the rostrum. Looking at the chassis, it was clearly much larger than the previous item. The gloominess in the hearts of the crowd that didn't win the bid immediately dissipated, and they stared fixedly at the new auction item. Whoosh! Yao pulled off the red silk cover and said with a smile, "The second item is a pink flying sword. The starting price is 1 million spirit stones, and the increment must be no less than 10,000 spirit stones." Once the flying sword appeared, the crowd below instantly flared up. They were even more excited than when they saw the fire attribute earth-grade cultivation technique. Actually, that earth-grade cultivation technique was clearly much more valuable than a flying sword. But the problem was that the earth-grade cultivation technique restricted fire attribute cultivators from cultivating it, so it dropped some grade. And the flying sword was suitable for all cultivators, so it naturally caused an even greater sensation. That's great. I came to the Flower City auction this time for the flying sword. I didn't expect to really encounter it. Seeing the flying sword, Changsheng became excited and shouted a price: 1,010,000 spirit stones. From the strength of his bid, It was obvious that he wasn't a rich person. This 1,000,000 spirit stones might be his savings for a long time. However, just as Changsheng finished his bid, dozens of voices sounded one after another. 1,010,000, 1,500,000, 2,000,000. Hello, everyone. I am Chi-Ho, the little elder of the Equal of Heaven sect. I have now stepped into the third level of the Holy King realm. I happen to be lacking a flying sword, so I hope everyone won't fight with me. 3,000,000 high-grade spirit stones. A strong voice came from the private room in the last row. After this voice sounded, many people who were prepared to continue bidding stopped. Actually, 3,000,000 spirit stones was just the right price for a flying sword. Moreover, Chi-Ho was the little elder of the 4-star sect, Equal of Heaven sect, and he stood out to shout. Ordinary people didn't want to offend this sect. The new book, Transcendent Grade Immortal Doctor, will be published online, horizontally, Chinese, and English. Please support me. Bookmark for easier reading. Chapter 1543. For a moment, the lively atmosphere in the auction hall quietened down. Many disciples with low cultivation levels or without strong backing shook their heads and sighed. They reluctantly withdrew from the auction. Qinfen did not care about the flying sword. The Starry Sky flying sword that he owned was 10 times better than the flying sword on the stage. Moreover, after Qinfen killed Hun Qingtian, he obtained 2 pink flying sword from his storage ring. However, Qinfen was surprised. Chi-Ho was only a small elder of the Equal Heaven sect, but he had already stepped into the third realm of Holy King. He was even more powerful than the sect leader of the Hunyuan sect, Hun Qingtian. From the looks of it, a 4-star sect was much more powerful than a 3-star sect. Sigh, it seems like I have no chance. Changsheng sighed. He came to the Flower City auction to get a flying sword, but now he could only watch the flying sword fall into someone else's hands. Brother Changsheng, do you need a flying sword? Qinfen looked at him and asked. Changsheng was depressed. Yes, Brother Qin, but that flying sword obviously belongs to Elder Chi-Ho. Moreover, the price of the flying sword is too high. I only have one. 2,000,000 top-grade spirit stones with me. This is all my life savings. Seeing Changsheng's disappointed look, Qinfen took out a pink flying sword. Since we are fated, this flying sword is for you. Changsheng was stunned on the spot. His eyeballs fell to the ground. The 3 disciples sitting beside him were also dumbfounded. They looked at Qinfen as if they had seen a ghost. They wondered who this person was. Not only did he step into the first realm of Holy King at such a young age, but he could also give someone a flying sword. When Changsheng came back to his senses, he was still in disbelief. He quickly waved his hand and said, Brother Qin, how can I do this? The pink flying sword is a precious spiritual weapon. How can I accept it so easily? Qinfen could see the flickering light in Changsheng's eyes. He really wanted a flying sword. However, under such circumstances, Changsheng could still reject the temptation of the flying sword. Qinfen's impression of him improved. How about this? I will sell this flying sword to you for 1,000,000 spirit stones. Qinfen knew that Changsheng was not a greedy person. If he forcefully gave the flying sword to him, it would be like slapping his face. Therefore, he suggested selling the flying sword to him. 1,000,000 spirit stones to buy a flying sword was definitely a profitable transaction. Changsheng was extremely excited. He knew that Qinfen had lowered the price to 1,000,000 because he wanted to help him. With such a low price, Qinfen would definitely suffer a loss. After some hesitation, Changsheng shook her head and said, It's still not appropriate. This flying sword is worth at least 3,000,000 yuan on the market, and there's no market for it. I can't cheat, big brother Qin. Forget it. For longevity and the others, a flying sword was comparable to a peerless treasure. However, for Qinfen, it was not even worth mentioning. There were many warriors sitting around. Qinfen was afraid of attracting attention, so he immediately stuffed the flying sword into Changsheng's storage bag. Don't stand on ceremony with me. I have more than one flying sword on me. If you don't want it, I'll sell it to someone else. Qinfen's words stunned longevity and the others once again. They stared at Qin Feng in disbelief. This person had more than one flying sword? Big brother Qin, which sect or sect are you from? This time, Changshan did not refuse. He could see that Qin Feng was a forthright person. If he continued to be pretentious, it would be boring. I've said it before. I'm the sect leader of Luoyang City's Hero City. Qin Feng smiled. Changshan carefully searched his mind, but he could not think of what sect Hero City was. If it was a 4-star sect or above, Changshan would definitely have heard of it. Huh, big brother Qin, here are 1,200,000 high-grade spirit stones. It's all I have. Big brother Qin, please don't decline. Changshan realized that Qin Feng might be hiding his identity. This was normal in the Divine Continent. He quickly passed the storage bag with the spirit stones to Qin Feng. At that moment, he looked at Qin Feng with even more respect. Qin Feng did not stand on ceremony. He threw the storage bag into his star ring. When Changshan and the others realized that Qin Feng actually had a storage ring, they were shocked again. The auction was still ongoing. The pink flying sword finally fell into Chiho's hands at the price of 3 million. From the looks of it, the Equal of Heaven faction was a very powerful existence in the northern Sand Continent. Most people would not want to offend them. The next few items were very impressive. This made Qin Feng more interested in the Flower City's auction. There was even a Tier 7 Imperial Elixir. However, the bidding price was too high. In the end, the hammer fell at 5 million spirit stones. Qin Feng's entire fortune was not enough. At that moment, Qin Feng realized that he had to get some spirit stones. If there was a treasure that he fancied, it would be awkward if he did not have the money to bid. Brother Changshan, can I auction items at this auction? Qin Feng asked. Ever since Changshan obtained the flying sword, he was very excited. He said with a red face, Big brother Qin, you can auction items at the auction. However, they have to meet the auction standards. Simply put, only high-grade treasures can be auctioned. No one wants ordinary spiritual equipment or elixirs. Qin Feng was excited when he heard that he could auction items. As for whether the items he wanted to auction would meet the standards, Qin Feng did not need to worry about that. You guys take a seat first. I'll go take a look backstage. Qin Feng left the auction venue and went to a room at the back. This was the place where the auction items were handed over. There were a few men who had won the bidding earlier paying the spirit stones. This is the working area. Unauthorized people are not allowed to enter. As soon as he entered the room, 2 strong men glared at Qin Feng coldly. Qin Feng glanced at the 2 of them briefly and was immediately amazed. These 2 bodyguards were both Second Realm Saint Kings. I'm here to auction items, Qin Feng said indifferently. The 2 guards were obviously stunned. They looked at Qin Feng from head to toe several times. They saw that he was young and dressed ordinarily. He did not look like a guy who had any good treasures to auction. The Flower City Auction House has high requirements for the items you want to auction. Don't even think about it, one of them said in a disdainful tone. Qin Feng did not care. He maintained an indifferent expression. You haven't seen what I'm auctioning. How do you know it won't meet the standards? The 2 guards choked. They stammered for a long time, but could not say anything. Step back. Let him in. At that moment, a tall and sexy woman walked out from the cabinet of the room. She was wearing a red muslin dress that exposed her shoulders and long legs. Qin Feng had seen this kind of dress many times in the secular world of Huaxia. But in the Divine Continent, few women wore such revealing clothes. Yes, Sister Hong, go in. The 2 guards seemed to be afraid of the enchanting woman. They each took a step back and made way for her. Qin Feng walked to the cabinet. The decoration inside was elegant and high-end. Only Sister Hong was sitting on Zhang Mu's wooden stool. There was a small square table in front of her. Sister Hong was making tea on the table. What are you going to auction? Sister Hong's voice was seductive. She was speaking normally, but it sounded like she was deliberately seducing you. Her tender hands moved smoothly as she spoke. She did not stop making tea. She did not even look up at Qin Feng. Qin Feng sat down on the wooden stool opposite her. He secretly checked the woman's strength, only to find that the woman's aura was so strong that even he could not understand it. Qin Feng did not care about this. He was here to auction items. He immediately took out the other flying sword he got from Hun Qing Tian. This pink flying sword is qualified to be auctioned, right? Qin Feng looked at Sister Hong. This woman's skin was as white as cream, and she exuded an enchanting charm. She was extremely attractive. Sister Hong, who had been cold all this time, suddenly stopped what she was doing. She looked up at the flying sword on the table, and her beautiful eyes flashed. Are you sure you want to auction this flying sword? Yes, but I don't know the process of auction and the bonus, Qin Feng said. Sister Hong pushed a cup of flower tea in front of Qin Feng. When she retracted her hand, she grabbed the flying sword in her hand and looked at it. After confirming that the flying sword was genuine, she said, "Our Huaqing auction house treats all our customers the same principle. If the auction item is successfully sold, the auction house will split the profit 30 to 70 with you. If you think it's okay, I'll arrange to auction this flying sword for you." Sister Hong's expression had already calmed down. Obviously, a flying sword was not that precious to her. Qin Feng inwardly cursed at the auction house for taking away 30% of the price in one go. But the auction house also helped Qin Feng bear the risk. If he took the flying sword outside to sell, he would probably encounter people who killed and robbed him. Moreover, it was not easy to find someone who could buy the flying sword ability. "Sure, can I auction a few more items?" Qin Feng asked. Sister Hong's expression froze again. She looked at Qin Feng seriously for the first time. "You have an item of the same grade as the flying sword?" Qin Feng did not say anything and took out a jade bottle. As soon as he opened the bottle, the room was filled with the fragrance of medicine. Sister Hong exclaimed, "This is a grade 6 golden saint pill?" Qin Feng took out a golden saint pill. He had refined it using the medicinal ingredients given by the Qi family in Luo City. Qin Feng had refined a few batches of it, and he had eaten some of them to break through to the Saint King stage. He had left a few for Zhao Ling Xian and the others. That's right, this pill should be able to be auctioned, right? The reason why Qin Feng took out the Golden Saint pill was that this pill was no longer helpful to his current realm. This was the best pill for breaking through to the Saint King stage at the peak of the Immortal Qi realm. Secondly, a grade 7 king pill was sold at the auction for a sky-high price of 5 million. Qin Feng thought that although the Golden Saint pill was one grade lower, it could still be sold for at least 2 to 3 million. Sister Hong was completely shocked by Qin Feng. Initially, she did not think that Qin Feng would be able to take out any high-grade items because of his young age. Now that she looked at it again, it was completely beyond her expectations. "Where did you get this Golden Saint pill?" Sister Hong did not rush to talk about the auction. Instead, she asked about the pill. On the divine continent, miraculous pills were what cultivators needed the most. Chapter 1544. Before Qin Feng came, he had been hesitating whether he should take out the Golden Saint pill or not. Seeing Sister Hong's excited reaction, he regretted his decision. He was worried that this woman would try to rob him. "This was refined by my master. He refined 3 pills. I ate 2 when I broke through to the Saint King realm. The remaining one is useless to me, so I wanted to auction it." Qin Feng casually found an excuse and revealed that he was a Saint King and had a powerful alchemy master. He did this to put pressure on Sister Hong and let her know that he was not a pushover. Sister Hong was stunned. When she regained her senses, she was shocked again. "Where is your alchemy master? What grade of alchemist is he?" Qin Feng had already realized how rare and respected alchemists were in the Divine Supreme Continent when he was in Luo City. Even the Qi and Ma family patriarchs fought to be on his good side. Now that he was facing Sister Hong, the person in charge of the Flower City auction house, Qin Feng was even more certain of this fact. After a moment of silence, Qin Feng said, "My master doesn't meet people easily. He can refine grade 7 king pills." In the Divine Supreme Continent, pills were divided into 9 grades. Grades 1 to 3 were all miraculous pills. Grades 4 to 5 were spirit pills. Grade 6 golden pills, and grade 7 king pills. The higher grades were even more powerful. Even Qin Feng couldn't refine them now. "He can refine grade 7 king pills?" Isn't that a pill, King? The pitch of Sister Hong's voice rose by quite a bit. Her originally indifferent face flushed red with excitement, making her seem even more charming and moving. Qianfen pretended to be calm and said, I'm here to auction something. As for my master, let's stop talking about him. Sister Hong snapped out of her daze and realized that she had lost her composure. She suddenly stood up, exposing most of her sexy body to Qianfen. She walked to Qianfen's side and sat down. What are you? Qianfen raised his guard. He thought that she was going to rob him. However, before he could finish his sentence, Sister Hong placed her lily-white hand on his shoulder. Young hero, don't be nervous. I want to be friends with you. You won't refuse, right? As she spoke, Sister Hong's other hand touched Qianfeng's thigh and used her finger to draw circles on a more sensitive area. Qianfen almost vomited blood. He had been on the divine continent for so long, but he had never seen a woman as bold and unrestrained as Sister Hong. However, Qianfen was not a little virgin. His romantic history could be written into a dozen books. Oh, of course we can make friends. Miss, you're as beautiful as a flower. I really want to be your friend. Qianfen pretended not to notice Sister Hong's ambiguous actions and let her touch him. A sneer flashed in Sister Hong's eyes, but she quickly restored her enchanting look and said, Young Master Qin, since we are friends, do you still have a 6th grade golden core? How about giving it to me? It had to be said that Sister Hong was a super seductress. If an ordinary man was so tempted by her, they would have long since fallen head over heels and agreed to everything. Qianfen said calmly, We just met, and I'm giving you a 6th grade golden pill? I don't think that's a good idea. As he spoke, Qianfen stared unscrupulously at Sister Hong's ample bosom. Sister Hong was overjoyed. From Qianfeng's words, this kid definitely had a 6th grade golden core. What's not good about it? Although Sister Hong and young Master Qin just met, I have a feeling that I regret not meeting you earlier. Don't you feel the same way? When she said the word feel, Sister Hong's jade-like hand slipped into Qianfeng's collar and caressed his strong chest muscles. Even a strong-willed man like Qianfen was a little moved, but he quickly calmed down. This woman's little scheme had long been seen through by Qianfen. Since Sister Hong has put it this way, shouldn't you also give me some discount? Qianfen smiled and reached out to touch Sister Hong's perky buttocks. Sister Hong's delicate body trembled, and a cold light flashed in the depths of her beautiful eyes. She smiled and said, Young Master Qin, what do you mean by a discount? Aren't you a little too anxious? I'm actually a very reserved woman. Qianfen sneered in his heart and deliberately pinched Sister Hong's perky buttocks. Without waiting for the woman to explode, he quickly said, Since we're good friends, then I'll increase the share of the items I consign to 80%. What do you think, Sister Hong? Sister Hong was stunned. She thought that Qianfen was talking about taking over her body. She didn't expect that Qianfen would still think about a percentage under such teasing. Okay, as long as you're willing to give me a 6th grade golden core, I'll agree to your proposal, Sister Hong said without thinking. Qianfen withdrew his hand and stood up. Under Sister Hong's surprised gaze, he said, Then it's decided. I've given you the 2 items I want to auction. Hurry up and arrange it. Sister Hong felt that something was wrong. What about the 6th grade golden core? Qianfen said with a smile, Sister Hong, don't worry. I always keep my words, but I don't have a 6th grade golden core now. When Master gives it to me in the future, I'll leave it for you. Sister Hong rolled her eyes and almost fainted from anger. She finally understood that she had been tricked by the little brat in front of her. This fact was hard for Sister Hong to accept. As the only daughter of Yin Xianhai, the city lord of Flower City, she had never been taken advantage of since she was young. Under the temptation of her beauty, countless men had been toyed with until not even their bones were left. Who would have thought that she would suffer such a huge setback today? Brat, you dare to trick me? Sister Hong slammed the table and stood up. The aura around her body skyrocketed. Qianfen couldn't help but take 3 steps back. He was amazed. This woman's realm was unfathomably high. She was at least a 2nd-level Saint King. Sister Hong, why would I trick you? It's just that I really don't have a 6th grade golden core anymore. Besides, I only said that I would give you a golden core. I didn't say that I would give it to you now. Is there something wrong with your understanding, Sister Hong? Although Qin Feng was amazed by Sister Hong's strength, he wasn't afraid of her. This was the auction house. If Sister Hong really dared to do anything to him, who would dare to come to Flower City Auction House to trade in the future? Even if he took 10,000 steps back and Sister Hong really wanted to kill him, Qin Feng could use the pink aurora wings to escape in an instant. Sister Hong was so angry that she wanted to slap Qin Feng to death. However, she still had some misgivings in her heart. I will remember that you owe me a 6th grade golden core. If you dare to not give it to me in the future, I will teach you a lesson. Also, you took advantage of me just now. If you don't give me something that satisfies me, I won't let you off. Sister Hong suddenly turned hostile. No one would have thought that this ice-cold woman could be so charming and seductive. Qin Feng said confidently, Sister Hong, according to what you said, you touched my chest just now. I am a virgin. How are you going to compensate me? Uffed. Sister Hong almost vomited blood and died. She had toyed with countless men and understood a man's nature the best. However, under the temptation just now, Qin Feng was able to maintain his rationality. It could be seen that this guy was also an expert in the field of love. This kind of person had the nerve to say that he was a virgin. Why did he go and die? Stinking brat, don't act innocent after taking advantage of me. You still don't know my identity. I'm the daughter of the city, Lord of Flower City. Qin Feng was stunned. He didn't think that the enchanting woman in front of him had such a powerful background. Not long ago, Qin Feng heard Chongqing mention the city Lord of Flower City. He was a rogue cultivator who was rumored to have stepped into the Buddha light realm. Now that Qin Feng had taken liberties with the city lord's daughter, he was going to die. Cough, cough. Sister Hong, I am here to auction something. I'm also a guest of your auction house. You don't have to go against me, do you? Qin Feng felt a little guilty. Sister Hong's seductive big eyes darted around. Finally, she said, leave your real name and background. 1 month later, I want you to give me an energy transformation pill. If you can't do it on time, I will make you regret it. The corner of Qin Feng's mouth twitched. Earlier, she said it was a 6th grade golden core. Now it had become a 7th grade imperial core. However, the energy transformation pill was not difficult for Qin Feng. Not long ago, the city lord of Luo City, Qi Tsang, had given him the medicinal ingredients needed to refine the energy transformation pill. However, Qin Feng's current strength was still lacking. He planned to try refining the energy transformation pill after breaking through a few more realms. And the time limit of 1 month was more than enough. All right, I promise you, but I want to increase the share of the items I auction to 90%. Qin Feng was definitely not someone who would take a loss. Sister Hong could not hide her surprise. To her, the share of the profits was not important. The Yin family was already very rich. She did not care about Qin Feng's small share. However, an energy transformation pill was hard to find. Even Sister Hong could not get it. If Qin Feng could really help her get an energy transformation pill in 1 month, she did not need to take Qin Feng's share of the auction. All right, I hope you keep your word. Qin Feng left the backstage and returned to the auction hall to sit down. At this time, the atmosphere of the auction hall was still very lively. During the time he left, a total of 3 items were auctioned. They were all very precious treasures. Big brother Qin, it's such a pity that you left just now. You actually auctioned a pink armor, a skyline spear technique, and a fire-attributed 6th grade spiritual beast core. Chongsheng's face was filled with excitement. Even if he did not have the ability to bid for those 3 items, just looking at them was already very exciting. Qin Feng was more or less amazed. Although those 3 items were not very useful to him, and he already had them, they were indeed very good treasures in the northern sand continent. Everyone, the next auction item will definitely make you go crazy. Actually, there was an item that was auctioned earlier. Since many people did not successfully bid for it, our auction house will offer another flying sword for everyone to bid for. The host, Yao Yao, stood on the main stage with a charming smile. However, after Qin Feng had seen Sister Hong's allure, he no longer had any interest in looking at women. However, When he heard that a flying sword was going to be auctioned, Qin Feng straightened his body. He thought that this flying sword was very likely to be the one he had auctioned. Fuck, there's a flying sword? That's great. As expected of the Huaqing auction house, they always bring huge surprises to everyone. I must get my hands on this flying sword. Chapter 1545. The crowd below the stage went into an uproar. The previous flying sword was forcefully won by the equal of heaven's sex, Chi Ho. This made many people unhappy and regretful. They didn't expect the Flower City auction house to get another flying sword. It was unbelievable. The starting price of this flying sword is also 1 million high-grade spirit stones. Each increment must be no less than 10,000 spirit stones. Just as Yao Yao finished speaking, dozens of shouts came from below the stage. 1,010,000. 1,010,000. The quality of this flying sword looks better than the previous one. I bid 2 million, the auction price sword. In just a short minute, the starting price of 1 million had risen to 3,500,000 high-grade spirit stones. At this moment, more than half of the people had withdrawn. They didn't think the price was too high, but they simply didn't have enough spirit stones to bid. Heroes, I like this flying sword too. It's better if you don't fight with me. I bid 4 million spirit stones. A strong voice came from a private room in the last row. Many people's faces turned cold. The one who shouted was none other than Chi Ho, who had won a flying sword previously. Fuck, this guy is too shameless. It's enough to snatch it once, but he still wants to do it a second time? Lower your voice. Who asked him to have a higher realm and a stronger backer? The equal of heaven's sect is a 4-star sect. They're not to be trifled with. So what if it's the equal of heaven's sect? My broken hung mountain doesn't live off a woman. Everyone was about to fight over a flying sword. The corners of Qin Feng's mouth curled up when he saw the intense atmosphere of the auction. The higher the price of this flying sword, the better. Big brother Qin, that flying sword can't be yours, right? Changsheng had already seen some clues. He knew that Qin Feng had quite a few flying swords on him, and Qin Feng had left for a while, just now. It was very likely that he had gone to auction this flying sword. What's the situation with Broken Hung Mountain? Qin Feng nodded, but didn't say much about the flying sword. Changsheng could already confirm that the flying sword being auctioned on the stage belonged to Qin Feng. This filled him with shock. Big brother Qin, Broken Hung Mountain is also a 4-star sect in the North Sand region. Its strength is comparable to the equal of Heaven's sect and the Central Plains sect that I am in. A long time ago, Changsheng had announced her name. At that time, Qin Feng didn't pay much attention. Now, he asked in detail, how powerful is a 4-star sect? How many St. King Realm Masters does the sect have? Changsheng looked at Qin Feng strangely. In his eyes, Qin Feng was a mysterious and unfathomable young senior. With Qin Feng's realm and heroic spirit, he was a member of a 5-star sect. How could he not understand the power of a 4-star sect? Although she did not understand, Changsheng still answered honestly. Big brother Qin, the North Sand continent is the place with the thinnest spiritual energy in the entire divine supreme continent. It is much worse than the other 3 continents. Therefore, the 4-star sects in the North Sand region are not very strong. Most of the outer court disciples are at the immortal Qi intermediate stage, while the inner court disciples are at the 9th immortal stage. As for the core disciples, many of them have already stepped into the Saint King realm, while the little elder and the great elder have even higher realms. Qin Feng was shocked. How could such a force be considered weak? To Qin Feng, this was already very impressive, and he knew that Changsheng was not bragging. The North Sand continent was indeed the place with the thinnest spiritual energy among the 4 great continents of the divine supreme continent. Therefore, Qin Feng could not imagine what the East Field continent with the most abundant spiritual energy was like. While the two of them were talking, the price of the flying sword had already reached 5 million high-grade spirit stones. At this time, only Chi Ho and the young elder from Broken Hung Mountain were still bidding. When Chi Ho called out the high price of 5 million, The young elder from Broken Hung Mountain did not increase the price anymore. He shouted angrily, "Chi, do you have any shame? Everyone let you have the previous flying sword, and you still want to take this flying sword?" Chio had already walked out of the private room. He stood at the door and glared at the private room diagonally opposite him. He said, "Wu Ku Xing, you sound like a resentful woman. This auction belongs to the highest bidder. I am willing to pay a high price. What can you do about it?" Wu Ku Xing was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He only brought 5 million high-grade spirit stones with him. He really cannot compete with Chi Ho. Let's wait and see. Wu Ku Xing walked into the private room angrily. The crowd sitting in the public hall sighed. Actually, everyone supported Wu Ku Xing to continue bidding. Chi Ho's actions were really immoral and had already caused public indignation. Seeing that the second flying sword was about to land in Chi Ho's hands, an indifferent voice suddenly rang out. 6 million high-grade spirit stones. Chi Ho, who was already smiling and about to go backstage to complete the procedures, was suddenly stunned. He looked towards the source of the voice and saw a youth in the public hall. The hall was instantly in an uproar. Everyone's gaze fell on Qin Feng. No one expected that someone would dare to increase the price at this time. "Rascal, are you looking for trouble?" Chio was so angry that he gritted his teeth. The aura on his body suddenly increased. Many people sitting beside Chi Ho felt an immense pressure. Some of them even instinctively retreated. The 3 disciples from the Central Plains sect looked at Qin Feng in fear. Changsheng was already secretly pulling his arm. "Big brother Qin, what are you doing?" Changsheng was really dumbfounded. Wasn't that flying sword put up for auction by Qin Feng? Why was he calling out a price himself? Qin Feng gave Changsheng a look to tell her that it was fine. Then he stood up, looked at Chi Ho, and said, "Am I looking for trouble? You were the one who said that the highest bidder wins the auction. I'm interested in that flying sword. Am I not allowed to bid for it?" Qin Feng's words were reasonable and reasonable. Chi Ho did not have any anger. There were already people in the crowd discussing softly. Many of them even revealed playful smiles. Everyone had long disliked Chi Ho. Now, that Qin Feng stood up to slap him in the face, it was really satisfying. You don't know your place. You want to compete with me in terms of wealth? Do you think you can win?" Chi Ho was furious and shouted, 2 million. Qin Feng's expression did not change. He slowly opened his mouth and said, 5 million. Chi Ho's expression turned even colder. Actually, it was about right for a flying sword to be auctioned for 5 million. Any higher and it would be a loss. However, the situation had developed to this stage. How could Chi Ho be willing to retreat so easily? He would lose face. 8 million, Chi Ho shouted while gritting his teeth. 7 million. Seeing that the bidding price was getting higher and higher and was about to break through the sky, the entire auction house was in an uproar. Who is that young man? He doesn't even give face to Chi Ho. He's so young, but he's so generous. He didn't even blink when he shouted the price of 7 million spirit stones. What kind of expert is he? There's going to be a good show to watch. No matter who wins the auction, the feud between these two will be settled today. Qin Feng ignored everyone's discussion. Chi Ho looked at the rising price and was so scared that he did not have the mood to care. In a short minute, the flying sword was auctioned for the sky-high price of 8 million spirit stones. At this moment, Chi Ho's expression was so cold that it was about to drip water. He gritted his teeth and glared at Qin Feng. After hesitating for a long time, he shouted, "Bastard, I bid 9 million. If you raise the price, I'll let you have the flying sword. However, I'm afraid that you won't be able to take it away in the future." Chi Ho was extremely arrogant and threatened Qin Feng in public. However, to everyone, Qin Feng's identity was mysterious and lofty. He would definitely not care about Chi Ho's threat. However, when they heard what Qin Feng said next, everyone was puzzled. "All right, I'll back out. That flying sword is yours." No one expected Qin Feng to back out suddenly. Could it be that this person was really frightened by Chi Ho's prestige? Although he had successfully bid for the flying sword, Chi Ho could not show a smile on his face. This flying sword had been auctioned for the sky-high price of 9 million, while the flying sword he had bought earlier had only cost him 3 million. Big brother Qin, even Changsheng could not understand Qin Feng. Qin Feng smiled and said, I was the one who put that flying sword up for auction. Why would I really buy it? I was just helping that fool to raise the price and make him spend more money. After hearing Qin Feng's words, Changsheng almost laughed out loud. He looked at Chi Ho, who walked backstage with a bitter expression. He thought that if this person knew the truth, he would definitely vomit blood and die from anger. The auction continued. Qin Feng's flying sword had been auctioned for the sky-high price of 9 million. This made him happy. He calculated the total number of spirit stones he had, including the 1 million he originally had and the 2 million that Changsheng had given him. He had a total of 11. 2 million top-grade spirit stones. However, this was not the end. The grade 6 Golden Sage Elixir that Qin Feng had put up for auction had already been placed on rostrum. Everyone, please be quiet. The following item is also very powerful. I believe that many of you would like to get your hands on it. Yao Yao pretended to be mysterious, attracting the interest of the crowd below the stage. She pulled open the red silk cover. Instantly, bursts of medicinal fragrance wafted through the venue. Needless to say, everyone realized that this was an elixir that was being auctioned. Moreover, it was of a very high grade. This is a grade 6 Golden Sage Elixir. I don't need to introduce its function. The starting price of the Golden Sage Elixir is 1 million. Each bid must not be lower than 10,000. The moment the Golden Sage Elixir appeared, the crowd was in an uproar. Actually, when Qin Feng had put it up for auction, a grade 7 Imperial Elixir had already been auctioned. However, although the Hibiscus Elixir was a grade 7 Imperial Elixir, it had a supplementary effect. It was not very useful for cultivation and was not as practical as the Golden Sage Elixir. Everyone knew that the Golden Sage Elixir was the best elixir for experts at the peak of the Immortal Qi stage to break through to the Saint King realm. More than half of the disciples present were at the Immortal Qi stage. They dreamed of getting a Golden Sage Elixir. 1 million. 5 million. 2 million. In the end, the Golden Sage Elixir was auctioned for 3 million. This price was within Qin Feng's expectations. He was also quite satisfied. In this way, Qin Feng's spirit stones had suddenly increased from 1 million to 2 million. Now he finally had some confidence. He believed that in the following auctions, if there was a treasure that he fancied, he would have the ability to compete for it. Next up, we will auction a precious refining material. Everyone should have heard of this Black Star Rock. It is one of the essential materials for forging top-grade spiritual weapons. The formation of the Black Star Rock requires hundreds of years of historical precipitation. From this, we can see how rare it is. The starting price is 100,000 spirit stones. Each bid must not be lower than 5,000 spirit stones. Chapter 1546. When the Black Star Rock appeared, the originally excited crowd calmed down. It was obvious that they were not interested in this top-grade refining material. On the other hand, Qin Feng's eyes lit up. He had already looked through the materials needed to create the godly shackles in the system. Black Star Rock was one of the main materials. Qin Feng was shocked. The starting price for such a rare and top-notch refining material was only 100,000 high-grade spiritual stones. Moreover, the price had been shouted out for a while, but he didn't see anyone increase the bid. Sigh. This rare material is indeed precious, but there aren't many blacksmiths on the Divine Continent. It's useless for ordinary people even if they get their hands on it. It's like a piece of scrap iron. Changsheng, who was sitting next to him, muttered. Her words cleared up Qin Feng's doubts. Qin Feng was excited. It seemed that he would be able to obtain valuable Black Star Rock materials at an extremely low price. 110,000. However, before Qin Feng could make a bid, a voice came from a private room in the last row. The voice sounded like a middle-aged man, and there were people in the public area who recognized the man's voice. That's Gao Jianpain from the Forging faction. I'm afraid only a refining faction like theirs would bid for the Black Star Rock. The Forging Sect is considered one of the more famous weapon refining sects in the Northern Sands region. The purple-gray battle saber that I'm using now was bought from the Forging Sect. It seems that the Forging Sect has picked up a big bargain today. 110,000 spirit stones to buy the Black Star Rock. The crowd discussed quietly, and Qin Feng heard all of this. When he found out that the other party was from a large refining sect, Qin Feng's heart became somewhat heavy. However, the Black Star Rock was something that could only be found by luck. Since Qin Feng was able to come across it at the Flower City auction house, how could he give it up so easily? 200,000. A young voice rang out, stirring up the crowd. Holy shit, there are still people who want to buy the Black Star Rock. It's the young swordsman who competed with Equal of Heaven's sex, young Elder Chi Ho, for the flying sword. Didn't this person get scared by Chi Ho? Why did you jump out and attack the forging faction? This young hero is so young, and his wealth is astonishing. I'm sure his background is not small. Qin Feng's participation caused the originally silent venue to return to its previous clamor. At this moment, a middle-aged man walked out from a private room in the southwest corner of the back row. The man was dressed in a gray robe and had a cold expression as he stared in Qin Feng's direction. Boy, I'm a disciple of the forging faction, Gao Jianping. That Black Star Rock is useful to my forging faction. Why are you bidding on it? Qin Feng did not even look at Gao Jianping as he calmly said, Naturally, bidding for the Black Star Rock is also useful to me. Gao Jianping's eyes widened. He didn't believe that this Black Star Rock would be of any use to Qin Feng. Could it be that Qin Feng was a blacksmith at such a young age? It was a huge joke. Humph, I think you're just looking for trouble. Today, I'll say it here. If you dare to bid again, the Forging Sect will be your enemy in the future. Gao Jianping's words were even more ruthless than Chi Ho's. The strength of the Forging faction was comparable to that of a normal 4-star sect. In addition, they mainly refined tools and had befriended many rogue cultivators and experts from large clans. Very few people in the Northern Sands continent would dare to offend such a powerful family. Everyone looked at Qin Feng. They already knew that Qin Feng would back off very quickly. Since that's the case, let me give you a piece of advice. If you continue to raise the price, I will throw in 10 million of my fortune and obtain this Black Star Rock. The noisy hall suddenly quieted down. Everyone stared at Qin Feng in disbelief. Previously, this person was scared off by Chi Ho. Now, he dared to go head-on against the forging faction. What was he thinking? Qin Feng's words were even more domineering. In a fit of anger, he would throw in 10 million spirit stones. This guy was so young. Where did he get so much money? The 3 disciples of the Central Plains sect were dumbfounded. Changsheng was so shocked that she could not come back to her senses. She even forgot to persuade Qin Feng. Gao Jianping stood rooted to the ground. He looked extremely embarrassed. He knew that Qin Feng wouldn't back down and was prepared to fight to the death with Qin Feng. However, Gao Jianping only had 5 million. He simply couldn't compete with Qin Feng. As for the fact that Qin Feng had 10 million spirit stones, no one doubted it. Previously, when he and Chi Ho bid for the flying sword, they raised the price to 8 million. Moreover, Qin Feng's expression was very calm. Kid, are you sure you want to do this? Gao Jianping stared at him coldly. A murderous look flashed in his eyes. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't see it. He said indifferently, If you don't believe me, you can try. I'm afraid that you will be scared off after I bid 10 million. That would be boring. The veins on Gao Jianping's forehead bulged. He secretly glanced at the backstage. If it wasn't for Sister Hong who was guarding the place, he would have fought with Qin Feng on the spot. Huh, good. You can bid 10 million for such a broken stone. Only an idiot would do this. I quit. Gao Jianping returned to the private room in a huff. The hall was in a turbulent discussion. They were all talking about Qin Feng spending 10 million to buy the Black Star Rock. After a long time, there were no other bidders. Qin Feng had already said he was going to spend 10 million. So who would compete with him? Since no one else is bidding, you can set the price for that Black Star Rock. Qin Feng said to the dazed Yao Yao on the stage. Yao Yao suddenly woke up. She looked at Qin Feng with a complicated expression. Finally, she said, "Congratulations, sir. You have bought a black star rock with 200,000 high-grade spirit stones." Crash! As soon as she finished speaking, the hall flared up again. Damn, wasn't it 10 million? How did it become 200,000? I remember now. At that time, that young hero bid 200,000. After that, no one else raised the price, so Gao Jianping was cheated? Actually, that young hero did not really want to throw in 10 million. When Gao Jianping heard the truth, he almost fainted in the private room. Qin Feng was not in a hurry to go backstage to handle the procedures. He planned to look at the following auction items. If there was anything that caught his eye, he would go through the procedures at the end. The following items were all kinds of strange things. There were escape talismans, pill furnaces, Fergana horses, and even young spirit beasts were auctioned. Qin Feng was not very interested in these things, so he did not bid. However, he was always the center of attention. So much so that during every auction, everyone would unconsciously think of him. They were deeply afraid that he would suddenly jump out to bid. When it came to the last item, Qin Feng's interest was finally piqued. This was a golden leaf grass. It was the main spirit herb used to refine the golden soul pill. The golden soul pill was a type of 6th grade golden pill. Its medicinal effects were stronger than the golden sage pill. It was the best supplementary pill for breaking through to the 4th level of the Saint King realm. The atmosphere in the auction hall heated up again. This was especially so for the people who were at the 2nd and 3rd level of the Saint King realm. They looked at the golden leaf grass on the stage as if they had discovered a treasure in the desert. Chapter 1547. The starting bid for this golden leaf grass is 500,000 yuan, and each increment must be no less than 10,000 yuan. Yao Yao announced her price, and the auction began. 510,000, 600,000, 1 million. Many people were bidding for the golden leaf grass, but everyone was still rational. After bidding for 3 to 5 minutes, the golden leaf grass only reached a price of 1 million. Although the golden leaf grass was precious, it was still just a spiritual herb. If an ordinary person were to bid for it, they would have to find an alchemist to refine it into a golden soul pill, which would cost a lot of financial and human resources. Everyone knew these costs in their hearts. 5 million. A low growl was heard. Everyone did not need to look to know that it was the young elder of the equal of Heaven's sect, Chi Ho, who was bidding. Because he had been tricked by Qin Feng not long ago, he was in a very bad mood. TSK. This Chi Ho is really shameless. He has already bid for 2 flying swords today, but he still wants to fight for this golden leaf grass. But then again, this person is really rich. I'm looking forward to seeing if young Hero Qin will make another move. Then there will be a good show to watch. The price of 5 million was already quite high. After all, this was just a golden leaf grass. Many bidders backed out, and everyone looked at Qin Feng as if they were anticipating something. 6 million. After a while, someone really did continue to raise the price. However, the voice wasn't Qin Feng's. Instead, it was the low and deep voice of a woman sitting in the public hall. Everyone was shocked and quickly looked towards the source of the voice. They saw a woman wearing a black robe and a black veil sitting in the corner. Where did this junior come from? You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Monkey Chi was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. Why was it that every single person dared to stand against him today? The woman didn't say anything. She lowered her head and sat coldly in the corner. Chi-Ho cursed for a good while. Even Yao Yao, who was on the stage, couldn't bear to watch any longer. That lady has bid 6 million. Is there anyone higher than her? Chi-Ho finally stopped cursing and shouted angrily, 7 million. As soon as he finished speaking, the woman spoke again, 8 million. It was obvious that he wanted to compete with Monkey Chi to the end, causing the crowd to exclaim in surprise. You bitch, I like to see how much wealth you have. Chi-Ho's temper flared, and he raised the price again, 9 million. 2 million. The woman's voice was low, and there was no change in her emotions. This time, even Qin Fen looked over curiously. Others couldn't see the woman's face under the veil, but Qin Fen had bought a talisman of clairvoyance, so he could see very clearly. She was a woman in her early 40s. She had a weathered look, and her skin was rough. It was obvious that she hadn't taken good care of herself. Although she kept increasing the price, and her voice was calm and unchanging, Qin Fen saw that every time she increased the price, her brows would furrow. Clearly, she wasn't rich. This woman made Qin Fen even more curious. Since she wasn't a tycoon, why did she have to go against Monkey Chi? It seemed that this woman really needed that golden leaf grass. 2 million to buy a stalk of golden leaf grass was already a loss. Chiho had long wanted to back out. However, he had already embarrassed himself twice. If he were to lose to a woman again, he would no longer have the face to continue living in the northern sand region. Bitch, you can't compete with me financially. I advise you stop now. I bid 2,300,000. This golden leaf grass is mine. Chiho's attitude was unyielding, and a cold glint flickered in his small eyes. He stared at the woman in the corner and observed her. He wanted nothing more than to see through her veil. Qin Fen saw that the woman's expression became serious. It was obvious that the price of 2,300,000 made her very uncomfortable. However, she hesitated for a moment and made a shocking high bid. 3 million. Whoosh. The auction house was in an uproar. No one thought that this woman would raise the price again and to 3 million in one go. Chiho's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. After a period of silence, he walked back to the private room in a huff. No one else raised the price for a long time. Actually, Qin Fen also fancied the golden leaf grass, but he saw that the woman's weather-beaten expression and decided not to fight with her. Moreover, a stalk of golden leaf grass being auctioned for 3 million was already an extremely high price. Qin Fen could totally get a few stalks from Cheat Song for free. Congratulations to that lady. You won the golden leaf grass for 3 million. Yao Yao's voice rang out. The woman's brows finally relaxed, and she even let out a long sigh of relief. At this point, this year's watching auction had come to an end. Everyone left the auction house one after another. Some of them had faces full of joy, but most of them shook their heads and sighed. Qin Fen did not leave immediately. After bidding farewell to Changsheng and the others, he went to the backstage area. Just as he entered, he saw Chiho handing over the 200 flying swords that he had won backstage. When Chiho saw Qin Fen enter the room, a murderous aura suddenly exploded from his body. Brat, how dare you go against me? I'll make you regret it. Chiho roared angrily and actually swung his sword at Qin Fen. A violent aura surged out. This person had already stepped into Holy King level 3, and Qin Fen was still no match for him. However, before Qin Fen could escape, a beautiful figure landed in front of him out of nowhere. The woman casually waved her hand and easily blocked Chiho's ferocious attack. Rumble. The sword Chi was triggered to the wall at the side, causing it to collapse. The woman's expression was gloomy, and she said coldly, Elder Chi, are you going against the Huaqing auction house? Chiho was also dizzy with anger. Otherwise, he would not have dared to attack Qin Fen in the auction house. At this moment, looking at the enchanting woman standing in front of him, Chiho was so scared that his whole body trembled. Red, Sister Hong, please don't be angry. It's my fault for being too rash. I'm willing to pay the full price for the things that I broke. I hope Sister Hong will not be calculated with me. Although Chiho was in a 4-star sect, his sect was some distance away from Huaqing. Moreover, Sister Hong's father was rumored to have stepped into the Buddha light realm. Even the sect leader of Equal Heaven sect might not be able to defeat him. Sister Hong's expression was still cold. She said emotionlessly, leave an additional 100,000 spirit stones and get lost immediately. Chi Tao felt aggrieved. 100,000 spirit stones were gone, just like that. However, under Sister Hong's strong pressure, he did not dare to show any dissatisfaction. He still had to put on a smiling face and say good things. After Chi Tao left, Sister Hong's gaze fell on Qin Feng. I didn't expect that at such a young age, your ability to cheat people is almost as good as Sister Hong's. Qin Feng followed Sister Hong into a compartment and sat down. Sister Hong, you've wronged me. When did I cheat people? Sister Hong's cold expression changed. A pair of attractive eyes stared straight at Qin Feng. You're still pretending? You raised Shi Ho's flying sword to 9 million spirit stones. Isn't that cheating? Qin Feng smiled and said, You can't blame me. He's rich and willful. I didn't hold a knife to his neck and force him to buy it. Qin Feng's words amused Sister Hong. When this woman laughed, her full breasts jiggled. Qin Feng felt dizzy just looking at her. Brat, do you know what happens to other men when they peek at my breasts? Sister Hong suddenly became cold halfway through her laughter. Qin Feng did not care at all. They must have been killed by you. Surprise flashed in Sister Hong's eyes. She really did not understand where Qin Feng got his confidence from to be so calm. This brat was merely a first-stage holy king. He could not even defeat Shi Ho, who had been scared away by her. Then aren't you afraid of death? Sister Hong loves me so much. Why would she kill me? Otherwise, the primary transformation pill will be gone. Qin Feng smiled. Sister Hong was stunned for a moment. Then, she came back to her senses. Suddenly, she could not stop laughing. Ha! Brat, I like you. It's a pity that you're too young. Otherwise, I'd really want to take you in. Qin Feng rolled his eyes and said, Don't look down on me. Although I'm young, some parts of me are shockingly big. Sister Hong subconsciously glanced at Qin Feng's crotch. Her pretty face blushed. Don't talk nonsense with me. I'm giving you a good look, and you want to do it? I'll only give you 1 month. If I don't see the primary transformation pill by then, I promise I'll personally go to the Saint Medic in Luo City. In just half an hour, Sister Hong had thoroughly investigated Qin Feng's identity. Qin Feng's eyes flashed coldly. He hated people who threatened him the most. Qin Feng collected the spirit stones and black star rock he had earned from the auction and left the Flower City auction house. After leaving the Flower City region, he did not rush to the 5-element mountain. At the auction, Qin Feng had offended many people. Moreover, he had displayed an extremely extravagant manner. On the way out of the Flower City, he already felt that he was being followed by more than 10 groups of people. The most important thing now was to shake them off. Swish! Qin Feng suddenly stepped on the starry sky flying sword and soared into the sky. The speed of the flying sword was extremely fast. It was several times faster than the 2 flying swords he had obtained from Han Qingtian. In less than 10 minutes, only 2 or 3 groups of people were left. However, these people were gradually getting further and further away. Very soon, they would be shaken off. After flying for more than half an hour, Qin Feng landed in a forest. As soon as he landed, he put on the 100 transformation mask and changed into Xiao Feng's appearance. At the same time, he concealed all his aura to avoid exposing Qin Feng's true identity. After doing all this, Qin Feng walked out of the forest like an ordinary loose cultivator. Not long after he came out, he saw more than 10 black figures running towards him. Brat, you've been nearby? Qin Feng recognized these people. They were the people who had been secretly following him. These people had all participated in the Flower City auction house. Wu Kuxing from the Broken Hung Mountain was also among them. Big brothers, what do you want? I'm just an ordinary loose cultivator. I don't have any treasures that big brothers would like. Qin Feng pretended to be weak. One of them stood up and shouted, Who the hell wants to snatch your treasures? Let me ask you, did you see a man on a flying sword passing by? Qin Feng felt relieved when he saw that his identity had not been recognized. Actually, most of the people who followed him were at the 9th Immortal Realm. There were also a few Second Realm Saint Kings. If it was a one-on-one fight, Qin Feng was not afraid of anyone. However, with so many people gathered together and Wu Kuxing, who was a 3rd Realm Saint King, leading the way, Qin Feng had no choice but to keep a low profile. I saw a man flying through the forest and heading south, Qin Feng said with a trembling voice. Chapter 1548. Watching those people leave, Qin Feng laughed and scolded those idiots. He turned around and hurried back the way he came. The Five Elements Mountain was to the north of Huaqing, so he had to go through Huaqing. After a day and a night, Qin Feng finally arrived at the foot of the Five Elements Mountain. He couldn't help but sigh. The North Sand Continent was really vast. However, the North Sand Continent was just one of the 4 continents of the Divine Continent. Qin Feng couldn't imagine how big the Divine Continent was. The Five Elements Mountain was a famous mountain in Fu City. Because of the abundant spiritual energy on the mountain, there were many spiritual herbs and spiritual plants, and it was suitable for cultivation. Many disciples came here. "Brother, may I know how to get to the Futing Grotto?" Qin Feng asked a man who was passing by the foot of the mountain. According to the map Zhou Tian gave him, the Five Elements Mountain's ancient warrior relic was in the Futing Grotto. However, Qin Feng was a little confused. The Five Elements Mountain was full of people. If there was an ancient warrior relic nearby, wouldn't it have been discovered long ago? The man must have been a frequent visitor to the Five Elements Mountain, as he told Qin Feng the route in detail. Qin Feng walked according to the route, and with the map in hand, he soon found the entrance to the Futing Grotto. It was a small cave, and there were no people around. Qin Feng stood at the entrance and observed for a while. The spiritual energy in the cave was dozens of times thinner than outside. It was not even as abundant as the spiritual energy in the Divine Continent. This made Qin Feng very confused. It was the first time he came to a place with such a lack of spiritual energy in the Divine Continent. No wonder there's no one around. No one would come to this cave to cultivate, Qin Feng muttered to himself. But the location marked on the map is here. Is there really an ancient warrior relic in this cave? Qin Feng had some doubts about the information from the 4 people from Hunyuan High. He guessed that the information they got was too outdated. In fact, this ancient warrior relic had been discovered long ago, and all the treasures in the cave had been taken away. However, since he was already at the entrance of the cave, Qin Feng decided to go in. He wanted to take a look around before making a decision. The cave was pitch black. Qin Feng snapped his fingers, and 5 purple flames ignited on the 5 fingers of his right hand. The flames lit up the darkness of the cave. Even though there was a chilly wind blowing in the cave from time to time, the flames were not extinguished. Before he knew it, Qin Feng had already walked to the deepest part of the cave. He didn't find anything along the way. Seeing that he had nowhere to go, Qin Feng was somewhat disappointed. It seemed that this ancient martial arts relic had really been discovered by someone. Or perhaps, what Primordial Chaos C and the others had received was simply false information. Just as Qin Feng was about to turn around and leave, the immortal fire on his finger suddenly leaped high. Qin Feng abruptly stopped in his tracks. This celestial fire was sentient. There could only be one reason for it to suddenly fluctuate. It meant that there was dense spiritual qi nearby. This made Qin Feng suspicious. Along the way, he was sure that the spiritual qi in this cave was sparse. Why was there suddenly such a rich spiritual qi? However, Qin Feng soon discovered something fishy. The closer he got to the end of the cave, the more intense the immortal fire on his finger became. Could it be a concealment formation? Qin Feng muttered. Little Pig's voice rang out in his mind. Master's guess is correct. There might be a concealment formation set up in this cave. Qin Feng's eyes lit up, and his originally lazy expression became spirited again. A concealment formation would definitely not be set up in an ordinary place. Since there was such a high-level formation here, there must be an unknown treasure hidden here. Qin Feng had long since upgraded the 5 elements formation to the heaven and earth formation level. This allowed him to study formations and dispel them. Swoosh! Qin Feng immediately took out a few formation flags from his star ring and threw them at the 4 corners of the cave. Back when he was searching for the inner hidden sects in China's secular world, Qin Feng had dispelled a concealment formation. However, the concealment formation in this blessed heaven cave was not considered a high-level formation. It didn't take Qin Feng long to dispel it. Rumble! A muffled sound rang out, and the cave shook violently. A new passage appeared in front of Qin Feng, and the spiritual qi inside surged out crazily. Qin Feng was pleasantly surprised. He realized that the place this passage led to was most likely the hidden ancient martial arts relic. He walked all the way to the end of the passage, and an empty cave abode appeared in front of him. Who dares to trespass here? Scram if you don't want to die. As soon as Qin Feng walked to the center of the cave abode, an old voice came from all directions. There was an echo in the cave. Qin Feng couldn't determine the location of the speaker for a while, but his expression changed because the voice was from Hunyuan Hai. It's this guy. Another old voice came out. It was Hun Qigong. After Hun Qigong recognized Qin Feng, the cave suddenly fell silent for a long time. Then, 4 black figures shot out. Hunyuan Hai and the other 3 people had surrounded Qin Feng. Haha, Qin Feng, I've been looking for you recently. I didn't expect you to come to me. Qin Feng returned to his original appearance when he entered the 5 Elements Mountain. When Hunyuan Hai confirmed that the person was Qin Feng, he was so excited that his old face bloomed like a flower. Hun Qigong and Han Bai stood aside and didn't say anything. Hun Tianjiao's face was cold. She hated Qin Feng as much as Hunyuan Hai when she thought that Qin Feng had cheated so many cultivation resources. Brat, I helped you apply for the position of a core disciple, but you ran away with the cultivation resources. What a heartless guy, Hun Tianjiao complained. Qin Feng sneered, Are you really kind enough to help me apply for the position of a core disciple? You just want the cultivation resources I got. Let me tell you a piece of good news. I've used up all those resources. Qin Feng wasn't surprised to see Hunyuan Hai and the other 3 people. He knew that they had come to the ancient martial relic. Hun Tianjiao was furious and raised her hand to slap. There was a loud explosion. Qin Feng nimbly dodged the wind from her palm, and a large piece of rock exploded on the rock wall behind him. The 4 people were stunned. They found that Qin Feng's strength had improved again after not seeing him for a long time. However, the 4 of them would never have thought that Qin Feng had reached the Holy King realm and killed the 8 young elders of the Hunyuan sect and the sect leader of the Azure Sky not long ago. Hun Tianjiao's face turned even colder when her palm missed. Before she could slap a second time, Hun Qigong suddenly jumped out to stop her. Elder Tianjiao, don't kill him. He's still useful. Hun Qigong gave the other 3 people a look, and they immediately understood. Hun Tianjiao actually stopped, but she stood at the side and glared at Qin Feng angrily. Hunyuan Hai didn't look good either, but the 4 of them seemed to be plotting something. They didn't attack Qin Feng anymore. Qin, you're lucky. I won't kill you now, but you have to listen to me. Otherwise, I'll take your life at any time. Hunyuan Hai stared at Qin Feng arrogantly. Hunyuan Hai stared at Qin Feng arrogantly. He didn't know Qin Feng's current realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said such reckless words, even if he was beaten to death. Qin Feng kept his aura at stage 8 immortal Qi, but he wasn't in a hurry to kill the 4 people. Qin Feng could see that the 4 old guys seemed to be plotting something. He wanted to see what was going on. Oh, by the way, how did you find this place? Elder Han Bai suddenly asked. The other 3 people also realized this problem and stared at Qin Feng with doubtful eyes. A Hunyuan sect's odd job. Disciple heard your plan and obtained a map. Later, he found me and told me about it. Qin Feng didn't hide it. Just as he finished speaking, Hunyuan Hai was enraged. So my map wasn't lost. It was actually stolen by an odd job disciple. I'm so angry. Hunyuan Hai was so angry that smoke was coming out of his head. A odd job disciple stole the map? He would be a laughing stock if he told others about this. Great Elder Yuan Hai. Let's get down to business first, Elder Han Bai reminded. Hunyuan Hai finally stopped cursing. He stared at Qin Feng coldly and said, Although you have a map, you can't find this place unless you see through the invisibility array at the door. If you want to live, help us break a defense array. Qin Feng sneered in his heart. He didn't believe that Hunyuan Hai would really ask him to break the array. Since the 4 of them could enter this cave abode, it meant that they knew some ways to break arrays. Why would they ask him for help? Bring me to the array first. Qin Feng didn't expose the 4 of them. Hunyuan Hai glared at Qin Feng fiercely again before he led the way. It turned out that there was a small passageway in the south of this cave abode. The deeper they walked into the passageway, the richer the surrounding spirit energy. The array is in front. As long as you break it, I will spare your life. Hun Yuan Hai suddenly stopped and said. There was an end to the passageway in front of him. Qin Feng glanced around and found that there was also a concealment array here. However, Qin Feng knew that things were definitely not so simple. Otherwise, Hun Yuan Hai wouldn't have spent so much effort to let him break the array. Qin Feng had already walked to the edge of the array. After a careful look, he found something fishy. There was actually an offensive array superimposed in this concealment array. These two superimposed arrays were set up very cleverly. Even people who knew a little about array formations would find it difficult to see through the trick. Once the concealment array was touched, the effect of the offensive array would be triggered. At that time, the person who broke the array would definitely die. After understanding the relationship, Qin Feng secretly cursed Hun Yuan Hai and the others for being sinister and cunning. They must have seen through this superimposed array and tricked him to be cannon fodder. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and break the array. Hun Yuan Hai was a little impatient. He was afraid that Qin Feng would discover the hidden offensive array if he looked at it for a long time. The other three were also very nervous. This superimposed array could only be broken with the death of one person. None of the four of them wanted to die. However, Qin Feng happened to run in at this time, which gave the four of them new hope. This is just a simple concealment array. Can't you guys crack it yourself? Qin Feng asked pretentiously. The four of them looked a little unnatural. Hun Yuan Hai was cunning and quickly found an excuse. Of course we can break the array. It's just that before this, we have already broken more than a dozen concealment arrays. Now our auras are a little weak. That's why we came to you. Cut the crap. Either hurry up and break the array, or I will kill you now. P.S. I can't update tomorrow. Take a day off. Chapter 1549. Primordial Sea still did not understand the situation and thought that Qin Feng was not his match. Qin Feng was amused, but was not in a hurry to make a move. Now that a superposition array had appeared, Qin Feng planned to use Primordial Sea and the other three to break it. Elder Primordial Sea, I have a feeling that I'm going to be tricked by you. This hidden array is already very weak. You can break it easily with your realm. You don't need my help at all. Qin Feng looked worried. Primordial Sea's patience was about to run out. He glared at him coldly and said, You're like an ant in my eyes. I can kill you with a wave of my hand if I want to. Do you think I need to trick you? You think too highly of yourself, don't you? Qin Feng sneered in his heart, but pretended to be worried and said, I'm still worried. Why don't you break the array with me? Otherwise, I'll leave here now. Primordial Sea rolled his eyes. He did not want to touch that superposition array. He did not know which expert left this array. The killing array was extremely ferocious. Even a 6th-level Holy King expert would not be able to resist it. However, seeing that Qin Feng seemed to be aware of it, Primordial Sea had no choice but to say, All right, I'll let Elder Hun Bai break the array with you. Elder Hun Bai's old face immediately darkened. He wanted to stand up and refuse, but Primordial Sea said first, Elder Hun Bai, don't decline. You're the weakest among the four of us. You know that. Of course, Elder Hun Bai understood what Primordial Sea meant. The weakest meant that he had to listen to the orders of the strong. Otherwise, if the strong was unhappy, they could kill him at any time. Junior brother Hun Bai, accompany Qin Feng to break the array. It'll be fine. Hun Qigong also stood up and said. Although Hun Tianjiao did not say anything, he nodded in agreement with Primordial Sea's suggestion. Elder Hun Bai felt as uncomfortable as if he had eaten shit. If his strength was not lower than the other three, he would have killed these 3 bastards on the spot. All right, I'll break the array with you. Elder Hun Bai had no choice but to walk to the side of the array. However, he had already planned in his heart. The moment the hidden array was triggered, he would directly slap Qin Feng into the array to resist the attack of the killing array. Qin Feng did not say anything. Actually, it didn't matter if Primordial Chaos C or Primordial Chaos White broke the array as long as they could activate the killing array. The two of them stood on both sides of the array formation, while the trio from Primordial Chaos C retreated dozens of meters away. It was as though there were some scourges and fierce beasts in the array formation. Seeing this, Elder Hun Bai was enraged again. He vented his anger at Qin Feng. "Stinking brat, are you ready? If you dare to slack off, I'll make sure you lose your life." Qin Feng didn't care about Elder Primordial Chaos's ruthless words at all. In fact, in his heart, Primordial Chaos C and the others were already dead. Whoosh! There was a sudden gust of wind. Qin Feng had already thrown more than a dozen array flags into the overlapping array formation, while Elder Hun Bai took out hundreds of high-grade spirit stones and threw them around the array flags. Soon, a strange scene appeared. Between the dozens of flags, there was a surge of purple spiritual qi, which formed a pattern of arrays. "The eye of the formation has appeared. Quickly attack." Qin Feng suddenly shouted. Elder Hun Bai laughed coldly in his heart. He wouldn't actually attack the formation. "Ha! You could go to hell now." Elder Hun Bai suddenly slapped Qin Feng with his palm, intending to slap Qin Feng into the array formation to trigger the killing array. However, when his palm fell, Qin Feng's figure had already disappeared in front of him. The surging palm wind landed in the overlapping array formation in front of him, immediately activating the killing array. Elder Hun Bai was so scared that his eyeballs fell to the ground. He quickly retreated to dodge. Rumble! A violent aura shot out from the array formation. It was as fast as lightning. Before Elder Hun Bai could escape, he had already exploded into pieces. The entire cave abode shook violently. Even Primordial Chaos C and the other two, who were standing dozens of meters away, were dumbfounded. The aura that shot out from the killing array was so powerful that the three of them were almost out of breath. It's indeed a killing array left by an expert senior. It's really amazing. Primordial Chaos C couldn't help but sigh. Hun Qigong and Hun Tianjiao were scared. Fortunately, it was Elder Hun Bai who went to break the array with Qin Feng. If it were the two of them, the people who died would be different. "Look, another passage has appeared," Hun Tianjiao suddenly exclaimed. At this moment, the killing array had been completely activated. After a loud noise, the cave abode returned to peace. Meanwhile, a new path had appeared in the originally sealed passage. The three of them were extremely excited and hurriedly rushed in. This passage wasn't long. In just a few breaths, the three of them entered an open space inside. This new cave abode was slightly smaller than the cave abode outside, but the spirit chi density was more than 10 times higher. Moreover, 8 fist-sized beads were inlaid around the cave abode's rock walls. The beads were crystal clear and shone with a dim light, immediately attracting the three's attention. This is a spirit bead?" Hun Qigong exclaimed. When Primordial Chaos C and Hun Tianjiao saw the spirit beads, their eyeballs almost popped out. This cave abode actually had spirit beads? This must be the cultivation place of that Buddha Light Realm expert. I didn't expect that he would use 8 spirit beads to set up a spirit chi array. No wonder the spirit chi in the area outside this cave abode is extremely sparse. It's all drawn here. Primordial Chaos C seemed to be talking to himself. Hun Tianjiao also said, "Spirit beads have always been a legendary item in the northern sand region. The spirit chi contained in one spirit bead is comparable to 100,000 or even 1 million high-grade spirit stones. I really didn't expect that I would be able to see the real thing in my lifetime." 8 spirit beads were equivalent to 8 million high-grade spirit stones. No wonder Primordial Chaos C and the other two went crazy once they entered the cave abode. However, the three of them quickly calmed down and looked at each other, not knowing what they were thinking. "Senior brothers, since we found this ancient martial relic, how should we split the things inside?" Hun Tianjiao looked at the other two warily. Hun Qigong quickly said, "Now that Elder Hun Bai is dead, it's most suitable for the three of us to split the treasures in this cave abode equally." Hun Tianjiao nodded in agreement. The two of them looked at Primordial Chaos C and saw that he seemed to have changed into a different person. A cold and playful smile appeared on his face. "Ha! You two want to split the treasures equally with me?" The two of them were stunned and stared at Primordial Chaos C coldly. Elder Primordial Chaos C, what do you mean by this? We agreed before we came here that we would split the treasures equally. Do you want to take it all for yourself? Primordial Chaos C did not care at all in the face of the two's questioning. He continued to smile and said, I want to take it all for myself. What can you do? Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong were so angry that their faces turned livid. The two of them were no match for Primordial Chaos C in a one-on-one fight, but it was hard to say if they worked together. Primordial Chaos C, you want to take the treasures for yourself? Do you really think that junior sister Tianjiao and I are afraid of you? Hun Qigong glared at Primordial Chaos C and said to Hun Tianjiao, Junior sister, let's work together to kill him and then split the treasures in this cave abode equally. How about that? The three of them each had their own thoughts, and none of them were good people. Hun Tianjiao agreed without thinking. He jumped to Hun Qigong's side and shouted at Primordial Chaos C, since you're a senior brother of the same sect, we can give you a chance to live. Get out of here now, or this place will be your burial place. Hun Qigong nodded, expressing his agreement with Hun Tianjiao's proposal. In fact, even if the two of them worked together to deal with Primordial Chaos C, it would definitely be a fierce battle. In the end, it was likely that both sides would suffer. They thought that they could scare Primordial Chaos C away by working together, but he raised his head and laughed wildly. Huh? Are you two kidding me? Do you think you can beat me if you work together? You're really ignorant. Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong suddenly felt that something was wrong. Primordial Chaos C was a little too confident. It seemed that he still had some hidden trump cards. Before the two of them could figure it out, Primordial Chaos C's aura suddenly skyrocketed. Fine, I'll let you see my true realm now. Boom! Primordial Chaos C's bones crackled like fried soybeans. Then his aura skyrocketed several times, as if his body was much taller. After just a few breaths, Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong exclaimed at the same time, How is this possible? You actually stepped into the Saint King realm? As a 3-star sect, Primordial Chaos Sect's 4 great elders were all at the peak of Immortal Chi Stage 9, but they still couldn't break through the invisible chasm of the Saint King realm. Now that Primordial Chaos C had become a Saint King, the last trace of hope in Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong's hearts was completely shattered. Now, even if the two of them worked together, they definitely wouldn't be Primordial Chaos C's opponent. Huh, now you know how ignorant you were just now, right? You want to share the treasures with me? What qualifications do you have? Primordial Chaos C was fearless and continued. Since we are all from the same sect, the two of you should hurry up and scram. Don't mention what happened today to anyone in the future, or else I can kill you at any time. The three of them originally had similar statuses, but at this moment, Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong had obviously fallen into the role of underlings. They were suppressing a ball of anger in their hearts, but they didn't dare to vent it out. Primordial Chaos C, you really did everything for this ancient martial ruins expedition. Actually, you broke through to the Saint King realm long ago, right? You've just been hiding your strength in the sect. Hun Tianjiao couldn't help but complain. Primordial Chaos C smiled proudly. That's right, I stepped into the Saint King realm a month ago, and then I tricked the three of you into exploring together. It's also Hun Bai's fault that he died. But even if he didn't die, the three of you still wouldn't be a match for me. Primordial Chaos C had already made a thorough plan. The reason why he asked Hun Tianjiao and the other two to explore together was to use them as cannon fodder. Now that they knew the truth, Hun Qigong and Hun Tianjiao felt sullen, but they still stood in the small cave abode and refused to leave. The 8 spirit pearls embedded in the rock wall were too tempting, and who knew if there were any other heaven-defying treasures in the cave abode. Chapter 1550. Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong looked at each other with reluctance and helplessness. The two of them finally decided to leave. Otherwise, they would die if they stayed. But before they walked out of the cave, a figure walked in leisurely as if he was sightseeing. Seeing the person, Hun Yuan Hai and the other two were shocked. You're not dead yet. How is this possible? Even Elder Hun Tianjiao died in the killing array. How did you survive? The three of them looked as if they had seen a ghost when they saw Qin Fun. The killing array just now was so powerful. It was set up by a Buddha Light Realm expert. Even though Hun Yuan Hai had broken through to the Saint King realm, he couldn't resist the attack of the killing array. But Qin Fun was the one who broke the array. It was unbelievable that he was unharmed. Qin Fun said indifferently, as if he didn't see their shocked expressions. I saw through that overlapping array a long time ago. I escaped the moment before the killing array was activated. Of course I won't die. The three of them understood and quickly calmed down. Hun Yuan Hai still had a smug smile on his face. He felt that the heavens were helping him today. Not only did he find the ancient martial relic, but Qin Fun also came to die. Qin, you should have known that you would end up like this since you dared to kill my beloved disciple, Hun Qinkun. Hun Yuan Hai's face suddenly turned cold. Qin Fun didn't look afraid at all. You are right. When I killed Hun Qinkun, I knew that I would kill you today. As soon as he finished speaking, the air in the small cave abode suddenly froze. Hun Yuan Hai and the other two looked at him in disbelief. They even suspected that there was something wrong with their ears. What did you just say? You want to kill me? Hun Yuan Hai looked at Qin Fun as if he was looking at an idiot. You didn't hear wrong. I came to this ancient martial relic to kill you. Hun Yuan Hai suddenly laughed so hard that tears came out of his eyes. He was now a Saint King realm expert, and Qin Fun was at most at stage 8 immortal Qi. How dare this ant talk big about killing him? I want to see how you are going to kill me. Hun Yuan Hai roared and suddenly punched at Qin Fun. Yang Kai's aura suddenly soared to the Saint King realm, and the surging momentum shocked Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong. Was this the power of a Saint King? Rumble. The wind from the fist descended quickly, blasting a huge pit on the rock wall. The smile on Hun Yuan Hai's face suddenly froze. Looking at the empty scene in front of him, a trace of panic rose in his heart. Old man, are you looking for me? A clear voice came from behind Primordial Sea. Without thinking, Primordial Sea turned around and punched. However, he was still half a beat too slow. Before Qin Feng finished speaking, he punched out. Amid the loud noise, Primordial Chaos Sea was sent flying into the rock wall like a kite with a broken string. Rumble. The sound of the collision was incomparably violent, and a human imprint was left on the rock wall. Primordial Chaos Sea slammed into the rock wall and finally fell to the ground. At this time, he didn't even have the strength to stand up. The fight between the two happened in a split second, so Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong were still in a daze. When the two looked at Primordial Chaos Sea who had fallen to the ground, their eyes were filled with shock. It felt like a dream. Cough, cough. You have also stepped into the Saint King realm? Primordial Chaos Sea forcefully swallowed the blood that had surged to his throat, and his voice sounded extremely weak. Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong couldn't help but exclaim. They couldn't accept the reality in front of them. Qin Fun has stepped into the Saint King realm? Wasn't he only at the 7th stage, immortal 2 months ago? Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Could it be that he ate some kind of elixir, like the Berserker pill, that temporarily boosted his strength? When Hun Qigong mentioned the Berserker pill, Primordial Chaos Sea and Hun Tianjiao's eyes lit up. The two of them also felt that it must be so. Otherwise, they wouldn't believe that Qin Fun had really stepped into the Saint King realm. Seeing the three of them still comforting themselves at this time, Qin Fun found it funny. You guys don't have to guess anymore. I have indeed stepped into the Saint King realm. Let me tell you another piece of good news. Before I came here, I went to your Primordial Chaos sect and killed the 8 little elders and your sect master Hun Qing Tian. Fortunately, the 4 of you weren't in the sect at that time. Otherwise, you wouldn't be alive today. Qin Fun's words were so domineering. He didn't take Primordial Chaos Sea and the other 2 seriously at all. The 3 of them were shocked, especially when they heard Qin Fun say that he killed sect master Hun Qing Tian. They couldn't help but exclaim. No, impossible. Sect Master Hun Qing Tian has already stepped into the Saint King realm, and he has cultivated the primordial chaos seven sabers to the fifth stage, illusory form. How can you kill him? Hun Tianjiao, Qigong, let's join forces to kill Qin Fen now. I promise to split the treasures in this cave mansion with you. Primordial Chaos C's face changed immediately, and he began to rope in Hun Tianjiao and Qigong. He was extremely depressed at this moment. He thought that he would have nothing to fear after breaking through to the Saint King realm. He didn't expect that he would be beaten by the young Qin Fen to the point that he couldn't fight back. Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong didn't say anything. They hadn't recovered from the sudden change in the situation for a while. At this moment, Qin Fen waved his hand casually, and several dazzling purple flames surged out, instantly enveloping Primordial Chaos C. You're thinking too much. Hurry up and die. Whoosh! The sound of burning flames spread throughout the cave mansion, accompanied by Primordial Chaos C's heart-wrenching screams. Under the power of the purple cloud immortal fire, Primordial Chaos C didn't even have much room to struggle. He was quickly burned to ashes. Qin Fen waved his hand again, and the purple flames on the ground disappeared along with Primordial Chaos C's body. It was as if he had never appeared. Young Master Qin, please spare my life. I'm willing to serve you like a slave in the future. Hun Qigong finally came to his senses. Looking at Qin Fen slowly walking over, he trembled with fear. Hun Tianjiao was also trembling, but she was more amazed in her heart. Back in the Red Street Market, she didn't even think much of Qin Fen. She wasn't even willing to be a handyman disciple for Qin Fen. But in just a few months, Qin Fen had become a Sage King realm powerhouse, destroyed the huge Primordial Chaos sect with his own strength, and now burned Primordial Chaos C with a single palm. Just thinking about it was horrifying. The conflict between you and me has long been formed. How can I let you live today? Qin Fen's expression was cold. He didn't say much and raised his hand, shooting out a pink light. The starry sky flying sword was as fast as lightning, drawing a beautiful arc in the cave mansion and piercing the hearts of Hun Tianjiao and Hun Qigong. At this moment, the elders and sect leader of Primordial Chaos sect were completely annihilated, and this sect would gradually disappear from the North Sand region. Qin Fen's state of mind didn't waver after killing the three of them. He casually waved a few balls of purple cloud immortal fire, and soon the cave mansion returned to normal. It was impossible to tell that the four people from Primordial Chaos C had been here. After dealing with the aftermath, Qin Fen started to observe in the cave mansion. He had already seen the 8 spiritual pearls embedded in the rock wall, and this was the first time he had seen them. It was only after hearing the introduction of the spiritual pearls from Primordial Chaos C and the other 2 that Qin Fen realized how precious and powerful they were. Qin Fen walked to the side of one of the spiritual pearls, and suddenly, a majestic wave of spiritual energy surged towards him as if it was endless. Master, don't be in a hurry to collect the spiritual pearls. Usually, the places where the spiritual pearls appear have a formation set up. Master, be careful. Just as Qin Fen stretched out his hand, Little Pig's voice sounded. He pulled his hand back and looked at the 8 spiritual pearls a few times. Suddenly, he found something strange. The placement of the 8 spiritual pearls was very particular. If they were connected by lines in space, it would look like a star pattern. And there was a formation eye in the center of the pattern, but it wasn't the formation eye of the spirit gathering formation, but an extremely well-hidden killing formation. Qin Fen realized that the formation here was similar to the place where he came in, and they were both superimposed formations. Moreover, the formation hidden in the dark was also a killing formation. It could be seen that the person who set up the formation was ingenious and powerful. Since the killing formation had appeared, Qin Fen didn't dare to take the 8 spiritual pearls. Now that the Primordial Chaos C and the other 2 were dead, he couldn't find a scapegoat to break the formation even if he wanted to. Qin Fen wandered around the small cave dwelling, wanting to see if there were any other treasures. When he walked in front of a rock wall in the southeast corner of the cave dwelling, he suddenly felt a wave of spiritual energy enter it. This made his eyes light up. This rock wall was actually hollow. Rumble. Qianfen struck out with his palm. Sure enough, after a loud noise, a large hole was blasted open in the hard rock wall. And on the opposite side of the hole, there was a small space less than 10 square meters. There was a stone table and a stone chair inside. It seemed that this was the true cultivation place of the Buddha Light Realm elite. Qianfen had already entered the small secret room, and he quickly found an ancient yellow book on the stone table. The material of the book was very special. He didn't know what it was made of, but it was soft and smooth like silk in his hand. However, it was very tough, and it was as hard to damage as a defensive ice silk soft armor. Flipping to the first page of the book, there were 5 big words. Fortune of Heaven and Earth Skill. This book is the supreme cultivation technique that the great Tao divinity, created in his lifetime. This cultivation technique is like its name. Great Tao divinity can change heaven and earth and become a divinity. The essence of this cultivation technique is to integrate with heaven and earth and use the energy of heaven and earth to create endless changes. If one calmly cultivates, they can at least break through to the hollow God realm. Those with superior spiritual roots can step into the true God realm with the help of heaven's secrets. Qianfen sat on the stone chair and flipped through the Fortune of Heaven and Earth skill page by page. Before he knew it, 2 hours had passed, and Qianfen's expression was already extremely shocked. Little pig, this cultivation technique seems very powerful, Qianfen hurriedly asked. Little pig's face was filled with ecstasy, and it even let out a pig's cry. Ow, ow. Master, you're really lucky. This is a supreme cultivation technique that has been lost in the divine continent for a long time. Even a hedonist sovereign system doesn't have it. Rumor has it that the Fortune of Heaven and Earth skill was created by the #1 expert of the divine continent, the great Tao divinity. After the great Tao divinity fell, this cultivation technique was lost for a while. I didn't expect it to appear in the North Sand continent. Qianfen was already dumbfounded. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.